There we go. See, there was no audio, and you guys didn't hear a single goddamn thing I just said. Is the visual, everything else okay? I'm just like, I'm totally burnt out from the project that I'm doing. I didn't even bother to make an intro. I have no news prepared or anything of that sort. I just wanted to check in with everyone. Let's see. So in the sandbox so far, we have Good for Gabby, Mozart, 56 Nick Rich, John Davis. I said Good for Gabby, right? And John Davis. Wow, my brain is fried. Death of Felipe Augusta. Asking if there's a physical book yet. There will be soon. It's part of the project, believe it or not, that I'm working on. The video about TYT. In it, I'm going to be making a joke about, how Jank was talking about his book all the time. And I'll be like, I totally understand that. And here's my book. It's a lot funnier than what I just explained to you guys, the way that it's going to be laid out. So part of the project is to get it into a physical book on Amazon. I just need to check on a few things because I might need to officially buy the cover if I'm going to make changes to it, which I plan to. And I don't know if I can just upload a completely new thing to the link that I have because I'm making some edits in the book. So I pretty much need to upload a new manuscript. Then there'll be a new cover, and I'm getting rid of the pen name altogether on it. So I don't know if I can just replace what I have in the current link or if I need to make a whole new link, which doesn't matter. It's like I only sold 7 copies on the old version anyway. So there will be a physical book sometime soonish. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit because I like talking about my book. I forgot to switch out my chairs. I have the creaky chair right now. Let's see. 56 Nick Rich. I asked the guy at the liquor store today if the removal of U.S. booze from the shelves meant that he would warehouse what's left or just not order more. His response was unexpected, unknown. There will be a lot that's happening over the next few days that is totally on the fly. Like nobody really knows what's happening. Like part of the thing is my brain is fried right now because I've been working on this stupid TYT video and Jank and Anna need to go on a vacation with no social media until I get this done. Because it's like every day they're doing something where it's like, well, that is terribly relevant to what I'm doing. Like it'd be one thing if it didn't connect at all. But it is kind of related. So I kind of, I'll show you guys what I mean by this video project in a little bit. But I have a very hard time focusing on more than one thing at a time. And like I said, I've just been fried with this, trying to find all the sources. It's like, oh, I remember hearing this quote somewhere. Finding out about another video that Jank had made with another group that I then have to review to see if there's anything relevant to add. And like some people might say, well, just stop. But the thing is that I've come across some really good things in like some of the latest videos that I've reviewed that are like super important to what I'm doing. So it's like, I can't just not, because sometimes it like completely makes the context and stuff. Why is that like that? Sorry, I'm looking at the video editing project as I'm speaking to you guys. It should be there. And the other reason why I need to get this done is my computer is full. It is full. My backup hard drive, external hard drive, it is full. To the point my computer almost crashed. So I had to remove a bunch of files and put it on a freaking memory stick. I tried deleting everything I wasn't using. So I moved a couple of my larger files to a memory stick so that I could get enough room so I could finish this freaking project. So even doing things like this live stream right now is, problematic. It takes up room on the computer. So I had to order a new external hard drive, one that is much larger, because the external hard drive I have been using is only 1 terabyte only. So the one I had to order is 5 terabytes for backup. So I'm also like super stressed that I can't back up anything else that I've already done for this. And it's like freaking me out that something's going to go wrong because I put so much work into this already. Like you can't comprehend. You'll get an idea. I'll show you some things. Any help covering the cost of the new external hard drive, greatly appreciated. It was on sale, but it still wasn't cheap. Luckily, it was on my Amazon wish list. So there is another 5 terabyte hard drive on my Amazon wish list. And that's there because I wanted a backup of a backup, to save things on both hard drives in case something happens to one type thing. But I've just decided on the one. Hello, hermeteorologist. Yeah, Mozart, the old chair switch classic. Yes, I got a newer chair that doesn't creak, but this one's more comfortable to sit in for longer periods of time. Like the other one, it's fine to sit in for a live stream. But if I'm sitting in front of this computer for 8 to 12 hours, this chair's just a little bit more comfortable. But then I have to remember to switch them out. So I didn't get rid of my old chair. I just kept it and I switched them out. Oh, Mozart, computer also full, will probably explode soon. I know the feeling. And especially because since I've been doing a lot of live streams, it's taken up a lot of room. Hello, Zach James. As a progressive from Missouri, I'm sorry for the jackass in the White House starting a trading war for no reason. I was, following the lead up to it, and it's happened. And again, I feel like I'm kind of letting you guys down by not doing a news live stream right now. But to my bandwidth, my bandwidth is full. Needed to actually go through my notes to pull up the news, then to end up doing a 4-hour long live stream. I don't have it in me right now. And it's so frustrating that this video project that I'm working on is taking so long because, there's a lot happening in the news right now that I want to get to and I want to share with you guys. Because, the trade war has started. And like most wars, it's not the people who are in the most powerful positions that will be hurting. It's, all the people whose jobs will be affected, who can't afford things that they used to be able to afford. All the average people, they're the ones that are going to end up suffering. And the powers that be will just end up using us as leverage and pawns in their silly games. And I hate it. I hate it so much. Oh. I might go over a couple tweets and stuff of some news things. Sorry, this chair is really creaky. Just to, because I feel bad not having a full news stream prepared for you, and it's been a week since my last one. But why don't I let you see what I have been working on, and maybe you'll understand. Because like I said, I have a hard time focusing on more than one thing at a time. And the thing is I could just give up on this video project for a while, but I want to get it done. The sooner the better, because I keep on making more content that's relevant to it. But also there's very important messaging in this video. It's not just a video about TYT. It's a video about leftist solidarity, how to bring us together, showing it, the biggest question in this video will be it's actually geared towards people who are fans of TYT and basically asking, why are you still fans of TYT? And it's not done in a way that will attack them or anything of that sort. It's just presenting information oftentimes a lot of information they don't see if they're not watching Jake and Anna on other shows. And then just asking the question, like, if you can accept that what I'm presenting to you is in good faith, and if you don't accept that, you can go and check all of the sources, because I will make the sources known so people can check to make sure that it's not out of context. So if you can accept that I'm presenting information in good faith, or you've gone through and checked and confirmed I'm presenting information in context, how can you accept what they're doing? Like, how can you, as a rational person on the left, be okay with what they're doing? And, it's broken into certain things and stuff. Sheldon Petrie, George Lucas was right when starting the Phantom Menace about taxing trade routes. Yeah. Hello, the Wild West. Hello, Nadia Yvette Chambers. Is Trump invading and or attacking Mexico? It's one of those things, like, you might as well have a magic 8-ball. Like, that will probably give you as accurate prediction as to what's going to happen than anything else available. I don't rule anything out. I hope, it doesn't go that way. Hello, Tracy Eva. But yeah, this isn't a regular news stream. I don't have anything prepared. We might go over some of the things that I've been building on, but I'm just, so you know what I've been doing. This is what I've been working on quite solidly for a little bit. So you see all these flags here are different points. Sometimes it represents like a different montage, a different, basically they all represent a different type of montage. Now, if I zoom in, you see all these cuts here, like these black lines that are going up and down in the videos here. Quite often, they're from different videos. So we have, like here, a 30-second clip with sources from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 odd videos. And the thing is that there's so much in this. It was crashing my program. So I have a second window that I've also been building in. So that I could continue this. Because there's so much to do. Thank you, Tracy. You love the colors on me. But I'll give you guys a bit of a sneak peek, because I want you to know I have been working. Even though I don't have like a news program set up for you guys, I have been working a lot on this. And let's see, let's go to this one. I haven't even plugged this in. My headphones. Not that I imagine... I don't really need to plug in my headphones for this. I have to plug in my headphones when I plan on clipping things, because there's a little bit of an audio thing that happens, because the mic will pick up the audio from the computer. So there's a little... it sounds weird, but this isn't exactly going to be a clippable video. So I'll show you a clip. So this one is about Lance from the Serfs. And because this video that I'm doing is broken down into sections, and one section is about how Jake and Anna have turned on previous employees, friends, colleagues, like all that sort of stuff, how it's been like night and day change in them. And this gives you an example of like some of the things that I've put together. And Lance will be the first one of this section of the video, because there's Lance, Ben Dixon, Bonnie, Mondale, Mike from the Humanist Report. And they all vary in length. Like some of these will be just a minute or two long. This one is 8 minutes long. So it's not like they're all going to be as long as this one, but I want to start off this particular section in the video with this one from Lance, because it is really stark when you see the change. Because Lance is the sole reason why everyone outside of this country thinks that all Canadians are polite maple syrup guzzling, moose herding hockey players. Like he is the embodiment of the stereotype of Canada. And so for them to like turn on him the way that they have, because for some reason they really name him when they do attacks on the left, even though he was so nice. He was so nice to them. But he's one of the few people that, up until recently anyway, they were naming by name. And like I said, it's just a stark day and night. How, because he used to go on to TYT to do the Friday power panels. So I'll show you, you get a sneak peek. It's mostly put together. There's breaks in it because I need to add my own talking points in it and whatnot. But let me know if you guys can hear this okay while I start playing it.
Yeah, there aren't really any elections coming up, and you're doing it for PR. Like, I just feel like, I hope most people can see through that. But Lance, I wanted to get your thoughts as well.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like the stock market demands blood sacrifice, is what I'm hearing. I don't think it helps Langford's case that he kind of looks like Eminem was playing a racist prison guard in the Shawshank Redemption. But on top of that, it's like, it's so rich.
I wanted my governor, J.B. Pritzker, to run. He just announced that he will not be running against Joe Biden. So we'll just have to see who jumps into the field as we approach the primaries for 2024. Lance, I want to bring you in this first. What are your thoughts?
I gotta ask, honestly, was that a deep fake? Or what was going on with Matt Gaetz in that clip? Was he wearing like a skin suit of Matt Gaetz? Okay, sorry. Well, no, this was totally unrelated. The fact that you were like, oh, we can swear now just reminded me. I came this close to saying Tucker Carlson wants to M&Ms in that last segment.
I did too.
I had the line in my head, and I was like, you're about to say it out loud. Don't do that. They told you not to swear, and then I actually did the filtration. So you're welcome, TYT subscribers.
I can definitely disagree with a lot of Cenk's politics, but I think I speak for most people. I don't think he's ever really been considered like a grifter. Like, I've always thought of him as someone who actually does try and live by his own beliefs, even if I don't agree with him, right? He's still principled in that. Anna, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Lance. This was fun. Happy to do it anytime.
Cool. Bye.
So then I have, this is a image that I'll be putting up to talk about the infamous tweet that Anna sent out, and that's when her and Cenk's attack against the left started. You know, like, I'll have some dialogue here about, you know, the change and stuff. So this is like a bit of a break. This is the image that I have in my file. So basically, I'm making this as I go along so that I'm not recording something and then realizing that I need to add more of my own commentary on it. So I'm trying to put all the montages and clips and images ahead of time, which means that when it comes to recording me and adding me in, it's actually going to be a lot easier and simpler. So then, you know, I mentioned that's, you know, this is from the leftist mafia. Let me just move this over here. So this is from the leftist mafia. I will direct people, like, you can go. I'll have a link in the description box for people to go to see the leftist mafia, how they originally reacted to Anna's tweet, how they were all saying, oh, no, we don't think she's transphobic. This tweet was just insensitive. Like, that's all. Like, the kid gloves. Olimey was the only one that had any sort of, like, real pushback by just saying you're all coddling the white woman, which is true. They were, you know, and they all knew it because they were trying to be nice. They were trying to be so nice. But because of this is when the switch happened and the war began. Like, I need a good phrase for, like, when the war began. Like, the instigating, like, I don't exactly want to use Crystal Knock or the crystal knock of the left. That to me just sounds a little insensitive, but I'm looking for something like that. As this tweet and the reaction to it, like the gentle pushback, but then the way that Jank and Anna exploded, I need like a good phrase for that. So if you think of one, let me know. So here we have them laughing and joking pre-tweet. This is the reaction after that tweet went out and how Jank and Anna respond to Lance.
So like with us, like at TYT, we do a 2.5 hour show every day, and that's limited real estate at a time when there's so much news to cover. Like the idea of covering like, oh, Lance said something that's offensive, like it's just laughable to me. Like we would never do that.
What's the craziest thing about
Lance is
this whole
trash,
thing?
right? We all agree on that, correct?
I dislike Lance. Yes.
Like to me, that's just wild. Pre-tweet.
Happy to do it anytime.
Cool. Bye.
Yeah. Let's see. Pre-tweet.
Thanks, Lance. This was fun. Happy to do it anytime.
After tweet.
I dislike Lance. Yes.
And I froze it there so that I could add a little bit more commentary about where is it going? Yeah, so I have it freeze framed there because in my head I had something that I'm going to say here, but I can't even remember it right now. That's how fried I am. But there was actually like something substantive I'm going to put in here before getting to the next part of, oh, right. Now I remember. I'm going to mention that this next part of this montage is Lance reacting live to Jank and Anna calling him out for the first time on TYT. So he hadn't seen this ahead of time. He was reacting live to Jank and Anna, again, on the main show, calling him out by name.
Everyone has had to like bend over backwards to always put in at the start, hey, by the way, I deeply respect TYT. They've done such great shit. Oh man, and they ever accomplished a ton of things with the progressive movement. Oh my god, they're a legacy, they're an institution. All that shit over and 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 over. No one's like, duh. Like when Jake accused me today on Twitter of what of it, he's like, you called me a fascist. No, I didn't. None of us did. What? That word has never been ushered. That's so weird.
Kid tested, Politburo approved. You wrote a very long message about how you disagree with me, and Shane wrote a similar one that I read. So I'll just say this. Okay, I love you, and it's okay. And if you disagree, it's okay. If you want to leave, that's okay. Okay. Thank you for being a member all this time. I appreciate it. But what you're, in my opinion, what your misunderstanding is, and what you have maybe you didn't see is, so all this kerfuffle starts with a simple tweet, and then at least half a dozen videos from other progressives or leftists online, all attacking us and calling us all sorts of names. So maybe you don't see that.
No, none of us did that. These are lies.
You know, my heart actually just kind of breaks for Lance in this, like rewatching it, because like, he's laughing, but you can tell that he's laughing out of a way of kind of hiding like how hurt he is by what they're saying about him, basically out of the blue after they did just the most milquetoast of pushback or saying like, hey, Anna, maybe not use that language. It's kind of turf-like. Tracy Eva, do Jank and Anna badmouth all their former employees? Only ones that speak out against them, apparently. Because I've been following the Twitter drama recently. And winners and losers, I came across a interesting tweet thread from a long time ago. You might be interested in. I'll show it in a bit.
I didn't call any of you names. No one did. Everyone was so nice. And everyone was so good faith. Like the receipts are there. Like for the public record, for anyone who wants to do this, go online. Go on Twitter. You will see David Dole, Mike, Emma, fucking every single fucking progressive and leftist, you know, was wearing fucking baby gloves on this one. Was just like, hey, by the way, just so you know, no one is actually trying to say that women can't be called birthing persons anymore. In fact, this is something that the right wing does. The right wing is actually the ones who are trying to say that trans women aren't women. So they're actually, in essence, the ones who are trying to say and redefine what woman should be. That was it.
And so you think, like, well, what is Cenk so upset about, right? So they call us all these names, and they feel super proud about it, like, we are more pure. So then I fight back on Twitter.
No, this sucks. This fucking sucks.
Clean up your room.
Like, oh God, this sucks. I can't stress enough how much this sucks. Like, I am not responding in the nicest and good faith of ways on Twitter because this is fucking a joy. I deleted 20 different versions of a tweet in response to you both times. Like you, Anna, like delete, wait an hour, delete, wait an hour, delete, you know, just to be able to in the best of faith, the good faith, the, hey, by the way, this is not a criticism as of you as a whole, of TYT, of like your history, all incredible, all based, all amazing. I just want to say that in this specific interest in this one, you kind of got something wrong, like everyone else did. Everyone else was so fucking good faith.
And then all of a sudden, you're like, how could you insult?
This feels made up. This feels like wrestling, and I'm not a part of it. I feel like we're doing wrestling right now. Like this is a whole fucking wrestling bit, and no one told me. Like I'm gonna be the weirdo who's just like, oh, what the fuck? You were all in on this? What is going on?
All us. We were just all we were doing was punching you in the face. No. That's a right-wing position. You punch, then you got to expect that I'm going to counter.
And keep in mind, the little clips that I'm showing you, I'm also kind of reviewing in my head, like, is this too much here? Do I need to clip this part out? Checking to see if there's a frame out of place and stuff. Like, I'm showing this to you, but I'm not working as I'm doing this.
Right? I don't mean you, Kid Tested. I mean, for folks who are out there, here, I'll name a name. Lance from the Serps. He's on here all the time on the Power Panel, right? And he comes out and does this like video about how he's so correct and oh yeah, the Young Turks, correct?
What? Are you fucking kidding me? Is this real life? Is this real life? I don't understand what's happening right now. I genuinely feel like I'm in the ring. I feel like I'm in a wrestling bit, and this whole thing was planned by everyone else, and I don't know what's going on. I have no fucking idea. I was so nice. I have not stopped being nice. I think in my discussion of this today, I've praised you, your work, TYT, and Anna, maybe like 16 times. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna throw that number out there. 16, you know? Maybe it's not right. Maybe it's 12. Maybe it's 8. I don't know. But goddamn, I've done that over and over and over. Goddamn, holy shit, what is wrong?
No, Lance, you're not goddamn correct. Nobody elected you. The polling shows no one agrees with you. You're
But you're mathematically wrong here. What are you talking about? Again, what's happening? I don't understand this. It makes no sense. This is breaking me.
And then I pause here to mention that this next clip was put together by Lance.
I want to say something.
Showing how Anna was really taking something he said from when Lance was on the Tim Pool show. And see, this is how fried my brain is. I can't even think about misinforming the audience about what he was saying. There's a different word in my brain. It's not necessary to think of that word right now, but just how she misrepresents what Lance said on the Tim Pool show, and then Lance had put this together to basically mirror that everything she says on the Stitch and Adam show is basically what he said on the Tim Pool show.
Something about abortion. As someone who is firmly in favor of reproductive rights, I want to tell you guys and your audience that the vast majority of us do not agree with what Lance said on Tim Pool's show.
But you were talking about how women, how like disgusted you are that women may have an abortion in the 9th month, right? Or even
A viable baby.
of a viable baby.
That could
and
live.
I wanted to scream at that time, being like, women who have abortions in the 9th month, they're not doing that because they got bored, or all of a sudden they're like, oh, I don't care anymore. They do that because it's a fucking tragedy. Like, statistically, women who are getting abortions in the 9th month is because there's a medical complication that could kill them. That's why they have to do it.
So first off, Tim gave him like a ridiculous hypothetical of like a healthy pregnancy at 9 months, and the woman just decides like, I went through the torture of being pregnant for 9 months, and I've decided to end my healthy pregnancy, right before I'm going to deliver.
Right.
No one's in favor of that. Okay, no one, literally no one. I guess except for Lance.
Pregnant. The baby is viable and capable of surviving on its own.
Sure.
And she says before it breaches oxygen, kill it. Do you think that should be allowed?
This is, again, the baby guillotines. This is why I brought that up. But what a weird scenario. This doesn't happen. This is not the real world.
So I don't know what Lance really thinks.
Yeah.
But the only time abortions happen in the 3rd trimester, first of all, they're always tragic. They're always awful. And it's because the woman's life is in danger.
Yeah.
Okay? It's never because the woman was lazy and decided that she wanted to do it last minute.
I don't think women on the 9th month get abortions with viable living children and then be like, I don't want it, kill it. I don't think that happens.
I don't know why Lance did that. I think it's so dumb. It's so dumb. And look, I don't think it makes sense to make all abortion illegal in the 3rd trimester. There are some rare instances where if the woman's life is in danger, right? But be clear about that. Just be clear about that.
So 88% of abortions are in the first 12 weeks. 88.
Yeah.
88% of abortions. Less than 1.3% of abortions take place near the 8th or 9th month.
So that's the segment on Lance. And as you can see, that's one of the longer ones that I've put together. Like even compared to this one, it's one of the longer ones. But again, just to show you, like, the amount of work that I've been putting into this is kind of insane. Like, only autistic people can pull this off, I think. Autistic, ADHD, OCD people. That's the amount of, like, able to hyper-focus, do the tedium, not let it go until you're done type thing. But one of the things, because the way that this is broken down, this whole video, is it's actually going to start with the tweets between Dan and Zeke that happened like mid-December. And I've talked to both of them behind the scenes because I'm not about to use their tweets as the initial framing device for this without checking in on them, because it kind of defeats the whole purpose of what this video is about, trying to bring the audiences together of the TYT audience, bring them back together with the rest of the leftists, because right now Cenk and Anna are the biggest wedge between the online leftist movements with what they're telling their audience versus what actual leftists are doing, and how they've isolated and siloed their audience. And there's like a new thing that's gone off in my brain about how the way the algorithms are acting, it's basically created the multiverse online with like public figures, political figures, and things of that sort. Because to me, it's hard to criticize, let's say, someone like Zeke for his loyalty to Cenk and Anna, when the version of them he sees is not the version of them I see. Because it's so easy for people to say, how can you not know? But we don't see his algorithms. We don't see the information he's been exposed to. We don't, like, we know, we've been, like, I've been exposed to far more overview, but if you're just exposed to certain elements, the version of Anna he knows is very different than the version of Anna I know. And so to get mad at him for being loyal to Anna when the version that he sees in his head, and he has no reason not to see her that way because he hasn't been exposed to this other stuff, you're telling him you should hate this person who's helped inspire you, who's doing good in the world, all of this. But again, he also doesn't see what we know of her. And so there really is like this multiverse going on online right now, where it's so hard to combat, the right wing when you see like different political figures and social media influencers and stuff, when we are literally not in the same we're not in the same universe. The reality that we're living is different than the realities that they're living because of the fucking algorithms and what they're presenting to people and stuff. So it's broken down with that initial framing device, but then also like if you don't like the bullying, if you don't like the way that people call out each other and attack each other, and you don't even want to see your favorite hosts treated that way, then why are you accepting it from them? And then this would probably then start exposing the TYT audience to a lot of what they're not seeing. And it starts by the former employees, colleagues, friends of theirs. And so that goes into the montages like with Lance and Christina, Bonnie, like all that sort of stuff. So you can see how, they used to be friendly, but now they've just totally turned on them and whatnot. And then it also then goes into talking points that they're misrepresenting of the left, and how that's actually very much hurting the online movement, how Cenk is trying to make the online left seem like something it's not to millions. At this point, it has been to millions of people with the amount of right-wing shows that he's been on, just misrepresenting our talking points, what we're saying, who we are. And he's doing this knowingly. He's knowingly doing this. And it is just so harmful what he's doing. And then it's going to go into, and so that's a large chunk. And so with the break, sorry, my brain is all over the place. So the first initial people I'm talking about, like the betrayals and stuff like that, Emma and Sam come in the end of that because they actually have their own section, like specifically, they're separated from the rest because of their particular history that I'll get into in the video. And so then it gets into the talking points like this one. So at this point, Cenk has said this to millions of people.
Because the end of that trans ad was, okay, so that position is so extreme. And they don't get it. They think it's not extreme. No, asking me to pay for your surgery when you're not a citizen yet and you're a detainee. Brothers and sisters, I got 1,000 priorities. And maybe we disagree on whether I would pay for that surgery if I had all the money in the world, right? But we don't have all the money in the world. We don't even have paid family leave. What are we doing giving surgery to prisoners or detainees in that case? Then there is the 2020 Kamala, where you take Bernie's economic populism, and what she did was, because she was floating in the wind and she saw the leftists that were ascended, she thought at the time, so going defund the police, trans people getting surgery if they're undocumented immigrants, all of those positions that I view to be extreme. Undocumented trans immigrants getting taxpayer-funded surgery, my guess is that polls around 2%.
You need a simple message on that, and you shouldn't throw trans people under the bus. You don't you don't just abandon something because it's inconvenient.
But that's not throwing trans people under the bus.
Yes, it is.
Wait, an undocumented immigrant comes into the country and says, I demand knee surgery.
That's not her policy.
But brother, you just got here. What are you demanding surgery for me for?
That is such an outlier. It's not even her policy. It wasn't in her platform.
Except it was her policy.
4 years ago, she mentioned it at an event. It wasn't in part of her platform. She distanced herself from trans issues, from trans rights, because...
But which trans rights, Jordan? Which trans rights? They do not have the right to demand free surgery when they come here as undocumented immigrants.
Who is doing that?
That was literally Kamala Harris's position in 2020.
It was a hypothetical.
I told you that Democratic voters do not agree with extreme leftists. They care about crime, and they don't want to pay for these surgeries, et cetera, et cetera. I also don't agree with you guys. I don't think paying for undocumented immigrants surgery is somehow some moral, great, amazing thing that we have to fight for. We have a giant number of issues in America. If they came in and asked for hip replacement surgery, I wouldn't be in favor of it. Because Donald Trump ran the anti-trans ad, which was not about hating trans people, although of course it was perceived as such by a lot of people. And so, what it was saying, hey, you guys are giving free surgery to undocumented immigrants who are detainees who are trans. It's too much. It's too, and I agree, it is too much. 98% of Americans agree it is too much, right? So instead of saying, oh no, that you guys are right, that's too much. We did, and of course, sports leagues, that's fine. And of course, no, we're not going to pay for any surgery for a dude who just crossed the border a second ago, right? No, why did Kamala Harris in 2019 say on tape that transgender detainees should get surgery if they're undocumented immigrants? She said it because there was hold on, Haas, let me finish. Because there was enormous pressure. There was enormous pressure from the radical left to say, oh yeah, no, you got to be pro transgender detainee immigrant surgery. You have to, otherwise you're not left enough. And then there's the identitarian left, which is go maximum on crime doesn't exist. You know, trans people should be able to play in any professional sports they like. Free surgeries for detainees, on and on and on. When you say progressive now, people think defund the police, abolish ICE, free trans surgeries for undocumented detainees, etc. And I know that the right wing focused on the most unpopular positions we have on purpose. But my point was, but don't help them by falling into that trap and saying, okay, now that's it. The progressive banner is undocumented detainees all get free surgeries, hip surgeries, trans surgeries. I'm not doing that out of political convenience. I don't agree. So for example, on the surgeries, listen, brother, you come into this country undocumented. I want to protect your rights. I want to make sure you get an asylum hearing, etc. Okay? And if your kid's a dreamer, I want to protect them, etc., etc. But you can't come into this country and then you demand surgery. No, I don't care if it's any kind of surgery. No. So when you start talking about giving transgender inmates that are undocumented free surgery, doesn't really matter what the surgery's for. No, brothers and sisters, the American people have that as their last priority. And by the way, I want to be clear, I'm 100% for trans rights, constitutional rights.
So there is a lot to go over in that one, but basically it's about zooming out. And so we're talking about Cenk is upset that somebody in America has received free health care. Isn't that the goal? Isn't that what you want? Also, this is a hypothetical, but let's go on the premise that this is actually happening. Why are you mad at the people who get the surgery? Because you see how his language changes a lot in there. Suddenly now these people are demanding the surgery. They're coming over here and they're demanding, they're being forceful about it. So he's blaming the people who are receiving the surgery as opposed to maybe fighting for the fact that other Americans should also be getting this free surgery. But if we zoom in a little bit, this free surgery comes at the cost of their freedom. These are detainees, they're inmates. They're not like, that's the thing. It's coming at the cost of their own freedom. They're being held in detention centers. They're being incarcerated with like horrendous treatment and abuse that we all know happens in those situations. And then he says like, oh, and so if we zoom out even a little bit more, or zoom in a little bit more, he's like, I'd be against hip replacement surgery and all these sorts of stuff. But I actually think if somebody was being detained, again, being held against their will, and they needed chemotherapy, and they were being denied that, Cenk would actually have issues with that, you know? There is a... I think he would agree that if the state is going to keep you against your will, detain you, incarcerate you, it is then the state's responsibility to provide you with health care. But you see, the thing is that the surgeries he does kind of compare them to, they're optional. He doesn't see trans-affirming surgeries as necessary. To them, To him, that type of surgery, it's just optional, but these people are coming in and demanding it. He doesn't see it as necessary. And then here we get into, so just so you know, and I'll have to put this in there, this guy is a raging transphobe. He's asking this question from this perspective of a radical leftist trying to pin Cenk into a corner.
If you're on that debate stage and I am one of the other people, I'm going to go, well, Cenk's transphobic. He doesn't think trans women are real women because they're allowed, he doesn't want them to be in the Olympics, but they're real women. Don't you think that trans women are real women, Cenk?
Oh, they're going to have a point against me. Ooh.
Well, give me your answer.
Oh, it's super easy. These answers I just gave you.
Yeah, it is super easy. Are trans women? Super easy answer there.
I'm 100% in favor of trans rights. I think they should have the same exact rights, same constitutional rights. And if you come for trans women, you're going to have to come through me, okay? And I'm not going to let you ban them from the military. I'm not going to let you take a single right of theirs away. And I'm going to protect those young girls and boys in high school. But if you say, oh, LeBron James being in the WNBA is necessary if he turns into a woman or whatever, and that makes you transphobic, then that's your argument. Own it. Great. Because that's going to make it easier for me to beat you. Because no one agrees with you. So everyone who thinks that LeBron James should, and then they'll get so mad at this analogy.
They will.
They'll be furious about this analogy. You could load up LeBron James with every hormone on the planet. He would score 200 points every night in WNBA. So if you want to say he won't, great. Then let's have that debate.
Yeah, let's have that debate. Only he won't have that debate.
You could, since they don't do any testing at all, you can just walk in, call yourself a female, not be trans. Trans people are actually
do it, Cenk. Do it.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, you can say it, but then what's going to happen?
Rugby,
Somebody's going to do it, and they're going to get away with it, and then everybody's going to be furious. Okay, it's all right. I can't stand it, and it doesn't help trans people at all to have these extreme positions. Oh yeah. Don't test anyone. Just take their word for it. I think it's terrible politics.
It's not an extreme position. It comes from a position of human rights, and it does help.
It's not a human right to compete with the other genders.
What you see there is when what you just saw are women, are biological women, being attacked for being trans because of the anti-trans athletic narrative that has already festered and has now come for these women. And so, what are the women to do? Say, I'm not a man. In fact, screw, like, I'm not a trans man. Are you kidding me? No. We all stand in solidarity together. That's how we actually fight the right when it comes to their bull crap culture wars that lead nowhere, and it doesn't serve. Look, I understand, Cenk. You're in the majority. You're in the majority. I'm in the minority. Most people disagree that trans athletes should participate in Olympic sports. Most people don't agree with me. But hell, man, I'm willing to stand on a hill that is unpopular and fight for people and for their human rights.
Yeah, look, we could spend an hour debating this, and I have in the past. But when
not really though.
Yeah,
not really debate. More of an agreement.
Okay, whatever. I'm happy to debate anybody about it. I think I don't agree. Okay. And you're never going to get me to agree by saying it's the left-wing position. It's the pro-trans position. I don't think it's a pro-trans position at all.
Just offer up.
So basically he's saying, let's have the debate, but then he's not willing to listen to anything, which is not a pro-leftist position. That he doesn't care what information he's presented with. He'll never agree that trans women should be in sports. He's refusing to change his mind. Despite the amounts of evidence that he could receive, he doesn't care. But also, when I was going over this clip, and they asked him that question, are trans women women? And you could see him squirrel his way out of it. He didn't actually answer the question. It then made me realize, and if this isn't an indication of where my brain is when it comes to remembering, oh, somebody said something somewhere that I need to track down and make sure I have in this video. I do not recall Cenk ever saying trans women are women, trans men are men, and non-binary is valid. I don't think he's ever said that. And if you can't say that with sincerity, you can't call yourself an ally. But yeah, so that's screen 1. This is screen 2 that I've been working on putting together of all the different stuff. Like I said, it's a lot of information, no doubt about it. This video is going to be long in the end, but it's also very clip heavy. There's my commentary is going to be pretty narrow because it's basically just pointing out these things and whatnot. There's still a few more minor things to put together and 2 major things to put together. So the minor things are just like Cenk saying, we are the real left. But then also saying it's like, you know, you can't really say he's gone on his right-wing thing until he says, you know, I haven't left the left has left me. There's a clip of him basically saying that. You know, so comedic timing, putting it in there at the end. Yeah, he said that. He said that. So there's a couple more smaller clips like that I need to put together. Then the longer ones are of Cenk and Anna versus Sam and Emma. And then one in regards to sketchy things around money. You know, the fundraising that they've done, the Polymarket Studios, things of that sort. Going back, I found the video of him presenting the wall with all the plaques on it of all the people who gave like at least $1,000 to name the studio type thing. And just thinking like all those people on that wall, do they really appreciate what's happened to it since? Let's see. I came across, where is it? So many things, so many things. Is it, no? I will find it in this stupid tab up here, but a very interesting tweet thread. And the thing with Sam and Emma versus Cenk and Anna right now is they are Cenk and Anna are actively adding on to that list right now of what their montage is going to look like, as well as with Francesca, because there wasn't going to be a follow-up with Francesca, but this video is taking so long when she says, damn, I'm worried I'm going to be next, when she's having her chat with Cenk. That is now foreshadowing. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Or did I just take a screen grab of it? See, my other worry is that my computer's going to crash and all of these tweets that I have open, all the things that I've kind of need for this will just disappear and I will freak the fuck out. No doubt about it. Is this it? Oh, no, not that one. That's in there. Oh, right. I need to do a little video montage on that one. Oh, so much, so much. That's no. Is it this one? Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know winners and losers if you've come across this before, but I found it when I was researching some of the things that Bonnie has said. And I came across this. I usually make the Twitters bigger for people to see. But Bonnie, way back when, had tweeted out in response, Cenk, I am a fan and longtime supporter of the show, so I guess this was even before she was on the network. I know this may be tricky right now, but if the TYT crew does actually want to unionize, and that will cost TYT more money, I will gladly increase my membership for that cause, and I'm sure many other fans will too. Maybe start a fund. And this is in response to Cenk saying, please read the whole thread. This is the most important part, is we're asking for immediate secret ballot. And this was initially sent out by the Young Turks back when the whole unionizing thing was going on. And I don't know enough about this to know what is accurate in it, but from what I'm reading in the replies, is that the mere fact that it had to be a secret ballot means that there were issues about the unionizing. But hey, maybe Hank, if you know a little bit more about like a quick 2-sentence breakdown of what this Twitter thread means, that would be helpful. But I don't remember if you remember seeing this or not back at the time. But in it, he also, like, well, TYT accuses IATSE of doing this. Yeah, given the unusual circumstance here, IATSE not only is actively campaigning against the founder of the company in his political race, but has clearly acted in bad faith. And this was their public statement at the time about this. So I don't know if you remember seeing that or not, or if it's useful to you in any way, but I think I can just get away with saying that the fact that it was a secret ballot indicates that there were things going on, and also things about TYT hiring a union buster lawyer during that. But like, there's just some of the things I've come across because the algorithm fairies have been helping me with this. And so suddenly it's like, I wonder if this will be helpful. And then suddenly I get like this amazing comment or something, like a video recommended to me, and in it is like, oh, that is absolutely perfect for what I need right now. You know, I've been getting a lot of that. But just looking at like the Twitter tabs that I have here, there's a joke about Ryan Grimm in there that I'm going to be putting in, because actually I'll pull it up on screen just again so you guys can see how absolutely incredibly thorough I've been with this, and how this is like melting my brain. Where is it? I came across a video and it's like, oh my God, I remember that. For all the wrong reasons. Back when they were doing their fundraiser to hire investigative journalists. I actually remember donating to that cause. I remember seeing the thermometer, being all excited about it, like, ooh, look at this. And their initial goal was like $1 million. And they reached it, and everyone's like, yay. And it was so exciting. And it's like, well, now we can hire even more people. If we get to 2 million, we'll hire even more people. And everyone's like, yay. And you feel like you're contributing and you're helping out. And I remember like the excitement I was feeling when it got over that $1 million mark. And then it felt like, you know, I was participating. I was helping in this. I was helping to make a difference. Well, they had a video following up saying, look at the wonderful investigative journalists that we've been able to hire. You remember some of these people? So this ranges from a complete fraud to hack to people that are like, yeah, they're still doing okay work. Oh. Yeah. Sean King. Michael Tracy, really? Just, yeah. And then I have a little joke about Ryan Grimm here, because he recently made a very shit take on Twitter. And he was called out for it. And there's a joke about it. I'll leave that for the video. You guys will see. It's a joke. But needless to say, yeah, it was a shit take, but Ryan isn't exactly been kicked out of the left because of it. He actually had a very good conversation on Majority Report with Sam and Emma about it. But that just reminded me I need to put together that little montage and another one. Yeah, anyway, my brain is fried. It is completely fried. Because right when I think like, oh, I've done all the little mini montages, I'm reminded of another little mini montage that I need to do. Oh. And I was hoping initially when I was starting this video, I'm like, I want to keep this to about an hour. And now I'm like, I just hope like hell this ends up being like 2.5 hours long. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should break it up. You should put it into different parts. And I get why they say that. That's never been my style. It just hasn't. It really hasn't. Because I want it all presented at once. Like, even if I were to write a book in a series, I don't want to write a book in a series. I would rather just give a person 1,000-page book than 5 200-page books, you know? And that's a me thing. Because that's also how I prefer it. And then I know, like, even if it ends up being like 2.5 hours long and people are like, oh, that's so long. There's plenty of videos out there that are that long or longer. People have sat through my entire live streams when they've been 6 hours long. You know, if you watch the Majority Report, that's 2.5 to 3 hours. Like, it's not that long, really, if you're the type of person that consumes a lot of online content, especially in the political sphere. And like I said, this is also very, very clip heavy. This is the first video I'm putting together where there's far more clips than me actually talking, to really just kind of strike the point. And the thing is that I want to have the montages like of the surgeries ones, even though it's like, yeah, it's kind of redundant. He says the same thing over and over again. But that's really to impress how often he is saying the same lie and to different audiences. And that's why it is spread to millions of people. And every time he's on a new platform, he shares these same talking points over and over again. And it is just so damaging to, you know, the trans movement, to queer folks in general. But at the end of the video, I'm also going to give my little theory behind the motivations behind Cenk. And the simple thing is, do I think he's a grifter in the sense of a grifter? No. But it is intentional what he's doing, is my theory. And I'll get into exactly what it is and whatnot. But yeah, so this is why I don't have a news live stream for you guys. Because this is what I've been doing literally all weekend. And I need a break. I need a big break from all of this. Because like I'm trying to keep up with the news that is happening here versus, you know, the blow ups with what Anna and Cenk are saying right now. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Let's make it big again. This is in response to Emma saying, and this is in response to Anna saying, again, on the program, calling Francesca out, saying she's only doing it for clips, that she's a nobody, like just totally, like the fact that she said this out loud, the way that she said this out loud about Francesca, it blows your mind. Like, no, she's acting in bad faith. She's doing that. Like, I hate to use such sexist language, but the only thing I can think of is catty bitch. Like, it's just like over the top. And so then Emma had tweeted out, gotta love this performative pioness of polymarket populist. Gotta make sure that I'm looking this way because of all the P's will pop in the mic. Coming for ally and movement partner Francesca because she posted Cenk's own words coming from his mouth. Go back to your roots, ranking celebrity camo toes. Could have also added some sexist things in there about her hair. Get your clicks that way, and the rest of us oppose let the rest of us oppose fascism. And then she wrote this novel in response to this, just totally losing her shit. Things like, Emma, you should probably be open about Harris's campaign ad buy on the Majority Report too. Maybe that's why you were cheering so hard for a woman who shooed away any left-wing activists who wanted to ask her legitimate questions about her foreign policies in the Middle East and blah, blah, blah. So lying, just absolutely lying about what Sam and Emma were doing. And Francesca replying to that. And then I'm seeing all these other people kind of piling in on this too. But if we go to my likes, there's something that what's his name? Francesca's husband. I'll surprise you with it. This one, made me laugh. Like this one, if I had been drinking liquid at the time, I would have take it out. Matt Lieb. So this is in response to that really long tweet from Anna. I'd say I ain't reading all of that, but Anna's heard enough of that from various book publishers. Yeah. I felt that one. I feel that one to my core. Oh. If there was ever a couple I wanted to be a polycule with, well. It was just awesome. But it keeps on getting worse and worse. And now my anxiety is I'm putting together this video, but by the time I actually have it all done, it'll be completely irrelevant. Like something will happen that will just like wipe clean everything and I don't need it anymore. And it's just kind of driving me crazy. Oh. But just going to quickly go through some of my top likes just to this is also the process in how I do my shows, where I like things as a way to bookmark them so I can talk about it later. But yeah, like I agree with Joy Henderson. Like I have my issues with Canada, but I have more issues with America. And this is kind of funny with the goose. Fuck boot and find you. Matt Leck was replying to Emma, you may be wondering why you don't remember seeing Hera's ad on our show. That's because we hit it. Play it backwards and you can hear Kamala is a brat every 45 seconds. And this is going to one of their full-length shows. Much harder for a journalist to point to then say this. Join the TYT Polymarket. And then I'll copy things or I'll like things from reporters. Colin DeMello is a reporter that I rely on a lot. I trust his reporting. There's this thing. David Dole covered this earlier today too. Just the tariffs and stuff. So this is like categories of foods and stuff, brands to avoid that are American, providing Canadian alternatives, which is what I like to see. If you're going to do this sort of thing, like tell people to boycott, tell them the options. Just going to be reading or watching this. David Dole covered it. So you know what? Just go watch David Dole, Steve Boots. They're on top of these things right now. I will be once I get this fucking project out of the way. Leah Gazan, an MP here in Canada. Again, just time to boycott American products. Here's a partial list. And I have some of my qualms with, like, again, she's not providing alternatives. But the thing is that some of these things, we don't have a choice. Like people who live with poverty in particular. I can't boycott Walmart. I can't boycott Amazon. Because I need them. I had to order that external hard drive off of Amazon, you know, because that's where I get them cheaper. That like Walmart is sometimes the only place that I can afford to shop. Like being able to financially boycott a lot of places is a place of privilege when you have the funds to do so. Wanted to review this thing with Pierre Polyev. But as you can see, I like a lot of things in any given day, so it can take me a few hours to put together a live stream. Because I have to, sometimes I bookmark them, but I still need to review it. But it's just like, oh, this might be something I need, so I'll need to review it. So then I'll open them all up. And the thing is again, since my computer is so full, I don't want to like overload it with a bazillion tabs already open. And then, so then I review them and then I'll put them in their own sections. So I'll have like breakdown instances of the web pages open. So then I group them together. These are all things about Justin Trudeau. These are all things about Doug Ford. These are all things about what's happening in Gaza. So I have them all grouped together. Then I sort them into an order to form my narrative. Matt Lieb is so fucking funny. I have a sniper on retainer with orders to blast me on sight the moment I ever earnestly utter the words content nuke. Because then there's the tweets that kind of fill in all these information tweets of things that, yeah, I just genuinely like. And then sometimes I'll do this like, oh, here's something from Catherine Fife about, the provincial election and stuff like that. But then I'll be like, after reviewing it, being like, I don't actually need to cover that. Like, I go through so much of that. So much. But yeah, there's a lot that. So if you haven't seen this from the letter hack yet, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. So good. Why are they going Instagram-y on us? I was fine with making this the full screen. I didn't need to see the commentary at the side. I liked it better when you would just go full screen. So annoying. But this is great. It took me a while to kind of figure out who some of these people were because it's like, And so we have John and Francesca, Dan, who looks like he's hunting humans. That's the pose. He looks like he's hunting humans there. And then Anna and Jank as the police officers here, all with water guns because it's not violent and stuff. And then you have Emma and Matt from Majority Report, Sam, Haas, Silly and Billy, Mondale, Ben Dixon. And then here you can see Rashad Ritchie and JR sneaking off as well, and just the online left and whatnot. So good. So good. Where's this poster? Why is this not a poster yet, letter hack? But yeah, so like I'll have like all of these clips and stuff to review, all these things, and then it's like, okay, so maybe can we stop paying for Catholic schools already? I really don't want my tax dollars going to a bunch of bigots who protect pedophilia on the regular, talking about a Toronto Star article. So then what I'll do here is like, oh, this seems like an interesting article. I want to read more, but it's Toronto Star, their paywall. So then I'll see if I can find an alternative source for this article. So that goes into some of the programming of my live streams. This is disturbing, though. New Ontario Progressive Conservatives hold largest lead recorded for a party since the turn of the century, new IOPSIS poll has found. People don't see it yet, but the Conservatives are going to win. Doug Ford is a lot of horrible things, but when it comes to strategy, he's smart. Having the provincial election now is smart for him, and it's horrific that he's probably going to get voted back in with the biggest lead, even though everyone's screaming. But what the vast majority of the average person out there sees right now is just Doug Ford being strong against Donald Trump. Maybe they haven't had to see a doctor in the past 8 years. I don't know. But it is just disturbing, terrifying. My mind is like, I guess the TYT drama video that I'm working on is a good distraction from the absolute dire horrendousness that I'm thinking into me right now, that I'm just terrified about what's about to happen in this province. This is a good idea. It'd be nice if our government actually did that. Christia Freeland says Canada should target Elon Musk's Tulsa in tariff fight. There's a lot of smart ways of handling this, I think, in ways that don't hurt just like the average person. But this is like, I've only gone back 3 days. This is funny. DEI. Donald Jr., Eric, Ivanka. But this is what I go through on a regular basis, trying to put together these streams and stuff. And oh yeah, update on the leadership race. Jamie Baptiste has dropped out. Nobody even cares. But then sometimes I'll come across a story like this. In 2023, an anonymous tipster told CBC News they knew the name of the police officer who killed Asia Chowdhury. It was almost, so this man was suffering a mental health episode and was killed by the police. It was almost impossible to confirm until now. These are the officers who were involved, and for one, it wasn't his first fatal encounter. And so even though I feel like this is an important story and I should cover it, is it just like a one-off story? And then if it's a one-off story, is it something I haven't talked about before? So I've talked about, how Canada is the second most out of similar compared nations, the second highest when it comes to police killings. I've also talked about how the vast majority of those people are Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples, generally speaking, also suffering from a mental health crisis. So then it's like, okay, this is important, but I have to weigh the pros and cons so that I don't have to do 8-hour live streams every time I do this. But in my commentary about the TYT stuff right now, we have to be, there's things that you have to push back on when it comes to Jank and Anna, but then other things you have to see it for what it blatantly is. And this was just Jank baiting people. When he said the plane crash in DC very likely had nothing to do with DEI, but it turns out Trump was not crazy for saying the FAA might have used discriminatory practices against non-minorities that did lower standards. Watch The Young Turks at 6. So he tweeted this out right before the live show. And this was just a way to drama farm, to get people clicking, to get people to watch the show. It was so callous to do this. And then they spent 10 minutes talking about something that didn't matter when it came to this. A program that ended 10 years ago, but they had to spend 10 minutes justifying it and saying, so therefore technically Trump didn't lie on this one thing he said, as opposed to covering all the substantive issues around the plane crash. And so my recommendation is don't engage with these blatant attempts to drama farm. And I would love to say the best way to get TYT to shut up is to just not engage with them anymore. But when they are doing active harm to the communities, we can't just sit by either and say nothing. So it's a balancing act. What do you engage with? What do you not engage with? But yeah, there's so much more that I still need to go through. This, again, this is what worries me about this upcoming provincial election. Why are you doing this? I hate Twitter. It's not Instagram. Get rid of that. I wanted this full screen. God damn it, stupid Twitter. Because it's bigger here. This was share of eligible voters in the last provincial election. 57% of people did not vote. 80% of possible voters, 18% of possible voters voted for Conservatives, and they got a majority. But as the way the first past the post works, even if the Liberals at 10%, the NDP at 10%, and the other at 5%, you do the math there and you'd be like, wow, so that's 25% versus the cons 18%. So obviously the Libs, the NDP, and the other could have formed a coalition and been stronger and had more seats than the Conservatives. That's not how first past the post works. Despite the Liberals, NDP, and others combined having more votes, they had fewer seats than the Conservatives did at 18% of voters. That's the way first past the post works. And that is why I hate these polls that come out before the election. It's like, oh, look at the percentages here. It doesn't fucking matter what the percentages are. It matters where those percentages are. Because Pierre Poilievre can get a majority with under 40% of the popular vote. That is doable. The Liberals got a minority with 32% of the popular vote. I think they got a majority with 38 previously. So, these upcoming elections in Canada are just absolutely terrifying me, especially with the rhetoric that's coming out of their mouths about, there's only two genders. No, there fucking is not. I'm glad Sarah Jama, though, is likely to win re-election. As an independent MPP, it's very, very, very difficult to win your seat, even win it back. But she's so freaking popular. She stands a good chance of winning her seat back, which is good. I'm very tempted to just go and campaign for her. Yeah, this is... I've already scrolled down how much, and I'm still just on January 30th. Like, that's how much stuff I like and whatnot. But that's my news stream aspect of this. Oh. Go and check the sandbox. And if I get a super chat now, I don't even care for how much. I'll show you another little montage if you like, and the person who sends in the super chat can choose. Although if you want a bigger montage, it should be a bigger super chat. I'm just saying. And thank you, Jet, for your help with, you know what, the editing. I haven't even got a chance to look at the video you recently sent me because, again, my brain is fried. Like, just even the effort it takes for me to review it and then add the ends to it and whatnot, it's beyond my bandwidth right now. As much as I should, for the sake of my channel and getting content out on it every day. So my apologies. It's nothing you've done. I haven't even had a chance to review it yet. My brain is just simply fried. But I do hope to review it soon. And I'll see about sending you the video stream from the 18th, I think, or the last news live stream I did, to see if you can find anything from there to clip, because if you clip them, it's easier than me trying to focus on that right now, even though it might take me longer to even get to the point that I'm reviewing it, because I just want to get this fucking TYT video done. Checking the sandbox. Winners and losers. Jank hates solidarity. All union busters do. 56 Nick Rich, is this just a chat or will there be a live stream with Sandy taking part soon? I don't even know what that means. This is a live stream. I'm taking part of it and I am looking at the chat, but this isn't my regular news stream. I didn't even have an intro put together for this. I feel like I owe it to all of you to know that I feel like I'm accountable to you guys. You know, you're my fans, you're my audience, you help support my channel. So if I'm not providing you with like a regular news live stream, I want to show you what I'm working on, and I want to be transparent. You know, I want people to know what I'm doing when it comes to content. Personal life is my own business. You know, I want to be transparent. So if you're not seeing something from me in a while, I might just say, you know, maybe something personal is going on and I can't do it. But if I'm working on another project, I want to let you know what it is. Because you guys help make this channel. You really do. So, you know, I feel it's important to just, even though I'm not doing a regular news live stream, to just check in with everyone and let you know what's happening. But I do need to end this live stream sooner than I normally would because my brain is fried. It is fried. John Davis, respect to Francesca for going to Zito to co-host a new show. Yep, that will be part of the video I'm doing. Hello, Grand Theft Autobot. We'll trade. Leftist American can come to America and we'll round up Maple Megas to send down there. I think you mean leftist Americans can come to Canada and we'll round up Maple Megas to send them down there. And I'm totally on board with that. I just think we should have like an Amethyst week or something where all Americans that want to become Canadians can come up here and all Canadians that want to become Americans can go down there. And I'm pretty sure that would naturally happen, where leftists would come up here and right-wingers would go down there. Because the only people who seem to be liking the idea of Canada becoming the 51st states are like the raging right-wingers here in Canada, like the furthest right you can go. They're the only ones that are like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Hello, Christy Zed. Evening, everyone. Sandy, you're giving elegant this evening. I am giving that way. Yes, I think you mean looking. I appreciate it. Super strict 9, dig the Canada flag. You mean that one? Yeah. As I explained to people, it's not out of a sense of pride. As I always say, I'm grateful to be Canadian. Pride is a little, you know, although in moments like with what's happening in the States right now, I feel a little bit more solidarity with the country than normally. You know, with the threat of tariffs and standing up against Trump and stuff like that, I feel a little bit more solidarity with the idea of Canada. But I'm very grateful to be Canadian. But, you know, pride is pushing it, just given what this country is responsible for. Tracy Eva, it is crazy. Who are they going after next? Yeah. Talking about Jake and Anna. And I think it was you who plugged me to, shouted me out to the Vanguard. I appreciate it. That's about the only way that I'm going to get onto those shows, if enough people bug them. Because they have tons on their plate too, so they need constant reminders. And if more people show an interest, then they're more likely to do it as well. And that's just one of the rare times I was catching their show because I was looking for content for my freaking video. It's like, that's the thing. Even when I'm not working, I'm working because I'll come across another video where it's like, I should review this video. So even when I'm trying to do downtime, I have it on in the background where my ears will like perk up when I hear something like, oh, that's very important. Like, what was it recently? And then I have like these scribble pad notes that I'm making. So I have it like a few pages in here, and then a page I tore out of another book, and then another page that I tore out because I didn't have anything close to me. And I'll jot down notes as I'm going along and then scribble them out as soon as I've accounted for them in the script or have the clip together. And then I constantly review this to be like, oh, right, that was another thing I needed to get to. Like just even getting the sound bite of Jank saying, I'm a capitalist. Okay, so it was on this video when he was on with Charlie Kirk was on there for the 44-minute long video, not the 30-minute long video, because Charlie Kirk was on with TYT a second time. And at the 42-minute mark, Jank says, I'm a capitalist. Thank the stars. These YouTube videos have transcripts, and you can search them by doing Control F. If it wasn't for that, this video would not exist. And I also feel like super bad for a lot of the leftist videos that I'm farming content from for this, because there's so many times I just click and then watch like 30 seconds of it as I'm trying to find the clip and stuff, record the clip and then move on, because that doesn't help them in their algorithms. That doesn't help it with its performance to have somebody constantly clicking on it like 3 times a day or 10 times a day looking for 30 seconds and then moving away. I'm sorry. But what was the most recent thing? I think it was the trigonometry stuff, where I'm like, oh, that was very good that I actually reviewed that shit show. And I reviewed them at like 1.5 speed. So trying to listen to Jank now at his normal rate is intolerable. Like, I have such a hard time doing it because I'm so used to his voice being at 1.5 speed. And it sounds normal at 1.5 speed. But then I'm usually doing something. else while I'm just reviewing a video, but I'm still working. But luckily my brain works in such a way where suddenly it will like, a word will be said and suddenly I'm like snapped to attention to like, okay, what are you saying right now? It's just like if I hear certain key phrases and the rest is just background noise until all of a sudden it's like, what did you say about trans folks? 56 Nick Rich. I rebooted Hermetologist. I see her now. Oh, okay. I get what you were saying earlier. You were having problems with the stream. Okay. Well, now I'm on screen for you. Tracy Eva. Whoa, Sandy has the receipts. Yes, and I have a joke at the beginning of my video saying there's going to be more receipts in this video than a Costco on Boxing Day. The jokes get better than that, I swear. You have no idea, like, the insane amount. Like, it has taken an hour and a half to get a 30-second clip sometimes. And then it's not just... I'll sometimes run into the situation where as I'm reviewing it more and more, I find like, oh, this thing that I just spent 2 hours on is irrelevant. Because one thing, I'm trying to be very journalistic integrity with this. And so I was going to have a montage of Jank referring to us as the Max Left. And then I had commentary that I had planned where it's like, he seems to hate it when other groups try to impose language onto others without their permission, like with the Latinx thing. But he seems totally fine with doing this to another group. But then I caught a video where he says, actually, I'm not doing that anymore. It's like, okay, so I won't add it. You know, like I'm really trying my best to make sure that I have integrity with how I'm presenting this. Because I will challenge everyone. If you think I am taking any of this out of context, call me out on it. Go find the receipts. Most of my sources you'll be able to tell where they're from. Go do the search. You know, show to the world I'm taking this out of context. Expose me as a fraud if that's what you think I am. So I am being very, very meticulous in how I'm clipping it, making sure that within the context of the montages and stuff, that it is in good faith context, that I'm not trying to clip something out of context to make a point that I just want to make for the sake of it. Let's see. Tracy, Eva, there is definitely a pattern. This is worse than I thought. 1 million. Wow. 1 million what? I don't know what that means. The amount of subscribers to my channel after this video is done. Like, that's the other thing. I have put so much work into this already, and I'm like, I'm going to get 1,000 views on it. Like, that's it, and that's it. 56 Nick Rich, Sandy is enjoyable and refreshing change from usual Canadian media sources. Why? Thank you. I prefer to read comments like that right now because, like I said, my brain is fried and I could use the positive reinforcements. And just people letting me know that they're looking forward to seeing this video also helps right now because I'm just worried that, like I said, I release this and it gets like 1,000 views and that's it. Because it's not just the fact that I'm putting so much work into it, it's the fact of the messaging that I'm trying to put into it about leftist solidarity and all that sort of stuff. Bob Carmody Truffaut said film is more important than life because it's life with all the boring parts cut out. That actually reminded me of something that I wanted to let you guys know about. I went to a screening of this earlier this week with a group I volunteer with. Yinta. It's about the pipeline that was forced through the Wet'suwet'en territory from the Trudeau government. And this is a documentary about that. And really, really recommend it if you guys can watch it. So the film right now spanning more than a decade. Like they had somebody documenting this from the beginning, and it is wild, like how long this has taken, the moments of hope where it is standing right now. The fact that this one pipeline was forced through the Wet'suwet'en area. So spanning more than a decade, Yinta follows Halikat Frida Hudson and Salai Molly Wickham, sorry, I'm not saying their names right, as their nation reoccupies and protects their ancestral lands from the Canadian government and several of the largest fossil fuel companies on Earth. It is streaming now on CBC Gem, the 88-minute version, or on Netflix, the theatrical version. So I'm going to toss this into the SandeeLovas. I really, really recommend it. So I got to go to an event where we had this screened and we could talk about it with some of the people involved and whatnot. And it was really, really good. John Davis saying, Anna is having a nervous breakdown. You know, it's starting to look that way. I'm just saying. John Davis, take a sabbatical, Sandy. You deserve it. Well, part of my relaxation from this video is I want to have the paperback copy of my book available for the release of this video because of I'm going to be plugging my book in this. Because Jank gets to plug his book all the time, I'm going to plug my book. And I have a funny little bit about that too. So I want to make sure that it's ready for that. And so part of my way of unwinding from this is to work on the little edits I have in mind for my book and to get that together for a paperback. I just, like I said earlier, I need to check to make sure if I need to buy the rights to the cover before I change it the way that I have, like, and try to publish it. And then I need to figure out how to, if I have to just do a completely new upload for a book, or if there's a way that I can basically keep the link that the book is already at and totally change the cover, the author name, and like the thing is that I'm not changing the content of the book much. There's just some edits here and there, but there's enough of them that for me to try to go through the manuscript and the stupid Kindle thing to try to change it that way. No, it's just at this point, it's actually just easier for me to re-upload the book because it's like, okay, on this page in this Word document, it's on this. It's just, it's just easier for me to re-upload the manuscript at this point. So I need to have that ready by the time I release this video. And then all this time too, I just trying to do my regular chores. Like I'm behind on my regular chores. I need to go grocery shopping because I'm running out of edible food. I say that in like I have fish and chips that I can make up. Only I really don't have any ketchup. And I can't eat that without the ketchup. Same with mac and cheese. I have mac and cheese that I can make up, but I don't have any ketchup. So I need to get the ketchup. But with me working on this project, like the thought of just even going out right now is like, no. And I get pissed off whenever I have other things to do because all I want to do is focus on getting this fucking thing done. And then the Majority Report has been pissing me off because they're interrupting my flow. Because I'm trying to call in to talk about the elections. And so I have to spend an hour and a half a day on the phone trying to get through to them. But also John Davis right now is not the time for a sabbatical with the provincial election coming up. Like that's the thing. I also just want to get this done so I can focus on that. Focus on the provincial election and then the federal election because they're coming back to back. And those are super important. Maybe after the elections, I'll take a break, but not until then. Because I have a video that I need to get done for the provincial election where I'm basically going through all my notes from way back when and just here are all the things I remember all the shit from Doug Ford doing, and just listing them off with like an image of the headline or something so that people can look it up if they want. Chrissy said, how do you know if you have an ulcer in your stomach? I have no idea. I've never had one. Tracy Eva, even Owen Jones commented, yeah, I saw that he went OMG to Matt Lieb's joke. That was really good. That if Anna read that one, oh my God, she would be so that would have just gone, that would have set her off. Miss Man, where does the money from writing books come from? If not, Americans don't read, or do they all use the books to level uneven tables? I've bought books from people as a way to support them, and I haven't read it. But, you know, remember there's a whole world that isn't online, and there's still a lot of people that love to read books. I'd love to be able to read a book again. I haven't in a long time. The last book I read was Against the Web from Michael Brooks. But, you know, I love reading horror books, and I really want to get around to doing that again. But there's still lots and lots of people that do tons and tons of reading, so there is a market from it. But it's not... The thing is that the market is so flooded right now with anyone can become an author on Amazon that it's much harder to get like quality content out there and recognized and to get noticed yourself. Let's see. Tracy, Eva, it's good to document this shit for future generations of lefties. Mm-hmm. Super Strike 9, thankfully I'm fortunate enough to boycott Amazon. I wish I could, but, you know, when it comes to people helping me build the studio and whatnot, that's the easiest way is for me to put something on there for people to get. And, you know, recently I got this, you know, the box set, Deep Space Nine, which it will be my sabbatical after I'm done this video. It's just going through and watching the whole thing with all the special features and stuff, which I super appreciate. And I kind of hugged this like a plushie when I opened it. At least I haven't taken it to my bed to cuddle with it at night. But I love this series. So like for a fan to be able to treat me and stuff like that or really show their appreciation, the Amazon wishlist comes in handy. But also for something like I needed the external hard drive and I kind of need it now. That's the way to do it. Super Strike 9, I only ever purchase CDs from Amazon. Yeah, I rarely ever purchase, like, I still purchase DVDs, Blu-rays, and stuff like that. But it's normally from my area. There's a place called The Beat Goes On, and it's, you know, buy and sell. And so I get them secondhand. And so I'm not paying the original amount you need for it. And I'm not contributing to a lot of places that I don't necessarily want to contribute to, like Amazon. Tracy Eva, Anna's now gunning for Hassan. I saw that. It's going to be added in. Gunstroke the Cybertonian has entered the sandbox. Hello, Vicky Klee as well. Vicky Klee, I think Jenk did used to say that about trans men, women anyway. Yeah, and I'll make it clear in the video when it comes to, I can't recall Jenk ever saying trans men are men, trans women are women, non-binary is valid. But I'm going to make it clear, it's entirely possible he has. I just can't recall it. And if he has said something like that, I'm pretty sure because of me being non-binary and stuff, it would ring a bell. Like, that's the thing. I can't remember a person's name. But I can remember a conversation I had with some random stranger from 5 years ago. It's just the way my brain works, certain phrases and stuff like that. So it is absolutely 100% possible Jenk has said that. I do not recall him ever saying it, though. But if you know where he has said it, then I will gladly make an amendment to the video and say, well, he has at least said this at one point. Not recently, but he has said it. And also, like, it's not like I've watched all of their content recently. So it's hard to say. I don't know. And to be fair, I don't even know if I've heard Sam Cedar say it. But I don't need him to, because his actions speak volume. You know, the way that he pushes back and everything. I don't need him to say it because I believe it with him. Yeah. Same with Emma. Like, when it comes down to it, I don't know if Emma's actually ever said that phrase before, but I don't need her to say it. But the thing is also, if you were to ask Sam and Emma, do you think trans women are women? They would say, of course. You know, there wouldn't be any hesitation there. But as you saw in that little clip, when the guy was posing as the radical left-winger, saying, well, trans women are women, right? The way Cenk answered that is telling. And so I'm worried, or I suspect strongly, that if you were to ask him directly, he'd weasel out of saying it. He won't. But yeah, if you know where he has said it, I will gladly add it. The Wild West, is Giant Tiger really Canadian? We don't have any giant tigers. I know what you're talking about. What kind of store would they be called? I don't know. A mini department store? It was Canadian at one point, I believe, but it might not be anymore. Same with Tim Hortons. It was Canadian at one point. It hasn't been a Canadian company for a long time. And some of the alternatives that you were seeing on the list, it wasn't necessarily Canadian alternatives. It was just non-American alternatives. Grand Theft Autobot, unfortunately, I have to use Walmart, the only grocery store in town that delivers and takes PayPal. I don't have a credit card and am disabled, so I need it delivered. Yeah. Boycotts aren't possible for a lot of people for reasons like that. Good for Gabby, 100 Sandy and Hermie. Boycotting is not possible for all of us. We do what we can. I'm just happy to find out that the yogurt that I get is Canadian. Hello, B-Cat. Stupid YouTube not notifying you. Well, since you're coming in a bit late, this is not a regular news stream. I just need to check in with everyone, let you know what I'm working on, the projects and whatnot. I didn't even have an intro together, and I'm probably going to be wrapping up relatively soon. And it's just me holding myself accountable to the audience to let you know that I am working on stuff. But I feel bad not covering the news right now because there's so much freaking news to cover. Grand Theft Autobot. The crash had everything to do with DEI, Donald's extreme incompetence. You know, the DEI acronym, I've heard it in lots of different ways, and it's actually very versatile. Tracy Eva, Pastor Ben's deport this dude did make me laugh. Jumped. Oh, where was I? It jumps, especially when I'm taking so long to get through this. 56 nukes, Rich, with the $2. Thank you so much. Let's see the montage, Sandy. Need to correct the spelling of my name. Yeah, just let me get caught up in the chat, and then you, I'll let you know some montages that are possible, and then you can tell me which one you want to see. So I have, and I'll make sure it's an actual montage as opposed to just, you know, one-off clip that I needed. So these are the names of the flags, and you let me know which one you want to see. So there is one about Ben Dixon, hating the right, Bonnie, Mondale, but keep in mind the Ben Dixon, the Mondale ones are pretty, they're long. They're long. The Francesca one isn't complete yet. There's one about the beer. And let's go to this other screen. People saying that they're willing to talk to Jank. People who were talking positively about other people on like about John and JR and stuff at TYT. Shouldn't talk to the other side. With just a little bit of disagreement, so percent disagreement. Because Jank goes on, it's like, oh, if you even disagree 1%, then you don't like it. I'm not gonna let you guys see this one montage yet because it's a bunch. Dan from the internet. Mods quit. It's pretty short. Yeah, there's a few montages where it's like, it's a little bit more difficult to show that because they're in context with other montages. So of those ones, let me know which one maybe piques your interest. There's Christina as well, Cosmopolitics. Because there's the Hitler montage, but like I said, that one's in context with something else. So... well, let's see. No, we can do the Hitler one if you want. And then I'll have to explain why that one actually had to be broken up because of journalistic integrity. I had to break that one up in a way. So, yeah, by the time I get down to where you are, let me know. The Wild West, I will try to shop at Giant Tiger more, but yeah, not really for groceries. I've gotten some clothes, like it's not great quality stuff there. It's like a discount mini department store, I guess is how you could say it. They used to have Varney t-shirts. Let's see, where was I actually? Okay, yeah, so let's start scrolling down again. Let's see, people replying to... oh, I'm starting to get hungry. Darn it. I don't have any ketchup. I'll have to see if my neighbor has ketchup that I can get. Grand Theft Autobot. Try right-clicking on the image and click Open Image in New Tab. Could also try use Control. Okay, talking about the images with Twitter. It's just super frustrating what, you know, some of the features that Twitter puts on is like, just stop. Like the whole autoplay with videos, nobody wanted that. You just want to start back at the beginning and repeat. Nobody wants the Instagram layout for a Twitter. Just stop making it look like every other. It was its own platform. Hello, MIDI doctors. Well, my biggest way that I cheat is to copy the image and open it in Photoshop, and then I can zoom in all I want. You were watching reruns of Z Cars. Jet, I missed so much of the stream. Yeah. Not going to be a long stream. Probably going to wrap it up very shortly, as I keep on saying, as I keep on looking at this. MIDI doctors Doug Ford will save Canada by taking U.S. booze off the shelves. Yes, that's something he is going to do. Oh. My cat, Lanier, loves this shirt because I pick him up and I hold him. And the thing is that he likes to lick, but cats don't like licking fabric. They like licking just bare skin. And so I have my shoulder out and I'm holding him like this and petting him. And he's just like licking in my shoulder. It's so cute. Many doctors, I trust you, Sandy. If not, on no biggie. Self-help is super important. Yeah. I'm just... Like, another thing is I need to get this video done so it's out of my brain. So I can stop. So that if something new comes up, I'm kind of like, well, it doesn't matter anymore because I've finished the video. Like, this is also my way of hoping to not deal much with TYT. Like I've always said, I don't want it to be the focus of my channel. My channel is about Canadian news and politics. That said, if they say something that is damaging to online left or leftist movement, gotta push back. Gotta push back. Let's see. Oh, and 56 Nick Rich, when you make sure that you put left of the box so that I can see your comment when you let me know which montage you want to see. Let's see. Many doctors, YouTube space is crowded out with desperate voices. Not entirely sure what you mean, but there's all sorts. There's like, for so many people, they see making YouTube or becoming an influencer or something on one of these social media platforms as a viable option for a career. It's not. It's the same as like being in professional sports and stuff like that. You see the people who make it because they're the ones who made it. But you don't see all the other millions of people who don't. Like, I think I'm in the top 90% or top 10 percentile or something like that on YouTube because I have over 1,000 subscribers. Like, it is really, when you start looking at it like that, it's ridiculous. But people see like all these influencers or people who've made it big online doing their content and making money. And so they think they can do it too. But it's not, because it's a lottery. Because there's lots of people who make fantastic content that will just never get picked up. It's a lottery. It's luck of the draw. And it's a lot of hard work. And it's not a reliable career. Because after a couple years, something might happen, the subjects you're covering don't matter anymore, YouTube decides to monetize you, it doesn't like the things, people move on. It's very much at the whim of your audience, paying through Patreon and stuff like that. And so to have it as like a reliable income source is not a good idea. I'm fortunate that I'm in Canada because, I rely on disability. It's not enough. So I do need, what I get from this channel to top up so that I can actually afford groceries and stuff. But I don't have to worry about healthcare expenses either. So it allows me the freedom to do this as opposed to working myself to death at a minimum wage job somewhere that would just destroy me mentally and physically. But there's lots of people who are desperate for it used to be 15 minutes of fame. It's now 15 seconds of fame. And, there are better ways of getting out there and getting your name known. Like for me, this is about the political messaging and things of that sort, but it's like, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? If you're just looking to make money, I don't recommend YouTube. Like you really have to be committed to what it is that you're trying to do. Unless you're just willing to sell out completely and do it just for clicks type thing. Grand Theft Autobot, SandeeLovas private eyeball? Oh, Tracy Eva, Sandy is more detective than YouTube creator. No. It is just obsessive compulsive, ADHD, autistic. That's what it is. Basically, do not give me a reason to hyper-focus on you. The shit that I will find. Okay, I'll give you guys a freebie that the algorithm god sent me, or the algorithm fairy sent me. It's super short, so. Pointing out that Cenk went on stage with Charlie Kirk and this ad came up with the 14.88, which is, I'm somebody who's worked in retail. That's a very odd sales point. Like, I wonder, because that's the image there, and then it'll switch to another image where it's circled so that you can see it. Boom. That's a very odd price point. I wonder if that number has any meaning.
Why $14.88? That seems like a curious figure. And why is he?
That was louder than I was expecting. I'm just gonna. Here we go. So yeah, that is a curious number.
Why $14.88? That seems like a curious figure. And why is he even sending her money? And by the way, she's Jewish. The 1488, known to be a combination of digits popularly used by white supremacists and neo-Nazis. 14 to represent the infamous 14 words, a mantra about securing a future for white children. And 88 to represent Heil Hitler.
So Cenk knows that number has significance. But then you could say, you know what? Maybe the programming didn't know that 1488 was a big no-no and they shouldn't have had it up on screen.
Says, at the exact time Cenk criticized leftists for calling right-wing Nazis, TPUSA played ads featuring the number 1488 and white supremacist / Nazis.
Oh yeah, that's the My Pillow ad. They run ads where there's a sale on their products for $14.88, which is a very random number to sell something for. And I would like to add that it's very interesting that I've come across these same ads like on Facebook and stuff, and in those ads, the marketed price is $14.98. So they 100% know what they're doing. They're altering the ad for mainstream platforms so they don't get in trouble or, get any bad rap from a mainstream audience. But they're airing the $14.88 ads specifically to on like right-wing platforms and events. Like, you don't do that by accident.
They know exactly who their audience is.
Yeah. You know that old adage that if you sit down at a table with 12 people and you find out they're Nazis, but you remain seated at the table, there's now 13 Nazis at the table? If you're on a show and they use Nazi symbolism in their advertising and you don't denounce it and you're still more than happy to go on there, then you're promoting Nazi symbolism. MIDI doctors, trigonometry, more like these guys are massive pullers. Yeah, I'd never seen them before, but my God, to say, yeah, they're pretty horrifically transphobic, and love to say that they're nice and balanced when they're not. A lot of right-wingers love to say that because, oh, we're talking to a leftist, so therefore we're the common sense, reasonable ones. Are you going to come up? Are you going? There we go. There we go. Let's see. MIDI doctors, I think human brains are being tested by this media environment to limit of information representation. People are blowing a fuse neurologically. Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's the way the media is being presented these days. I think it is definitely having an effect on our brains. Okay. Oh, come on, Abernathy. MIDI doctors, MR is overloaded with topics to cover, and Sam thinks the world ends somewhere near Scranton. "56 next Rich, when the chat is half hour behind those things get confusing, we'll manage." Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll get caught up. I'll get caught up. Oh, is there a funny response from winner and losers to Sam Cedar on the crazy saying? Let's see. And I think part of the reason why my brain can handle all of this is that I do find politics interesting. Like, if this was something that I wasn't like personally invested in, then I'd probably you know, my brain would explode. But since this is something that I care about, I'm able to do this. So like even in my downtime, I'm watching other political shows. No, okay. I get so distracted so easy. Let's see. I don't know which one of his that you were replying to, though. Ah, there we go. So Sam says, this is a 100% unmitigated absolute lie. Let's make a polymarket bet on it, replying to Anna's novella tweet. Sam, I told you I'd call back to talk woodworking, but I'd like to tell you about the Tell the Truth, Jank, my documentary about unionizing the Young Turks, sponsored by evil gambling website. Your audience will know far more about the union situation than TYTs. Well, I'm also trying to call in to the Majority Report, but that's to talk about, you know, the elections and both Donald Trump and Pierre Poilievre talking about the whole "there's only two gender" rhetoric. Because, you know, it was because I was going to the live show in Brooklyn a few years ago to see the Majority Report that I had to get my passport. And when I went to apply for my passport, my birth certificate was too damaged to use. So I had to get that reissued. And I thought, you know what? Now is the perfect time. Then, since I have to get it reissued, I can just get my gender marker updated on my actual birth certificate. And I did that. And it was a process because my birth certificate came from a different location than the gender marker was updated. So I had to send documentation to 2 different locations, have it timed and all that sort of stuff. But then I got it, and I got my passport too with my gender marked as X as well. And I got that just so I could go down, and I was so happy. It was kind of like a little silver lining to going to the Brooklyn show. And even though it was a hassle, just having that government ID with the proper gender on it was really affirming to me. And now that is the very thing that may prevent me from ever going to another Majority Report live show, depending on how things go. So, 56 Nixbridge, TYT, not as important as the tariffs. No. I doubt they're even covering that much. I hope that the tariff situation ends quickly for the sake of everyone who, you know, will be affected by it, because it's the average person that will be affected by the tariffs, not the people that are powerful. Vicky Klee, the comment about trans women or women would have been years ago by now from Chank. Yeah. Like I said, I'll make it clear that it's entirely possible he has said it. I just don't recall him ever saying it. But, you know, people are more than welcome to let me know. 56 Nick Rich, the trans issue is a ploy to distract people from the real issues that matter. And Jake and Anna are falling into that trap, even though they accuse us of falling into that trap because they're the ones that are focusing on it. Because things like trans women have been allowed in the Olympics for years and years and years, but now suddenly it's an issue? Wasn't an issue before. And as I say, it's like, yes, these are distractions. But it's the way that they're a distraction. It's basically like throwing a grenade into a crowd of people to distract the fact that there's another group of people robbing the bank down the street. They're using trans issues as a distraction, but there's actual collateral damage and harm and hurt being caused by using them that way. Emperor Megas. Tim Hortons isn't Canadian anymore? It hasn't been for a while. I think, what was it, the 90s it got sold off? Yeah, it's not Canadian, but you wouldn't know that based on how our politicians love to promote it. Let's see. But it was a while ago that it got sold off. Yeah. So you know what I'm looking at, the Wikipedia page. Founders, headquarters, key people, parent, Restaurant Brands International. Okay, it's a Canadian-American multinational fast food holding company. That might be new then, because I knew it got like completely non-Canadian-fied. Merger with Wendy's. Oops. Regaining independence. So Tim Horton franchise spread rapidly, overtook McDonald's as Canada's largest food servicer. Merger with Burger King. To Canada with a new holding company. Let's see. Because I know it did get bought out by a non-Canadian organization. So I don't know if it's new that maybe they got back into a multinational that actually is part Canadian, but it's not fully Canadian. Let's see. Who owns Tim Hortons now? Burger King. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So in 2014, Burger King, owned by Brazilian investment firm 3G Capital, bought Tim Hortons for $11.4 billion, and the company became a subsidiary, Restaurant Brands International, which also owns Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Concepts. So yeah, that's where I was thinking it went. For some reason, I remembered it was a South American company. So, it's parent. $3G Capital. Subsidiaries: Burger King, Tim Hortons, Popeyes, Firehouse Subs, Carol's Restaurant. Anyway, back to the sandbox. This will not be a 6.5-hour live stream, John Davis. I'm pooped. I'm pooped and I'm hungry. Oh, come here, sweetie. I need to move my legs. Oh, did we get a transphobe in the sandbox? This sandbox isn't good for transphobes. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Don't think I've seen you in the sandbox before. I would have remembered that. Welcome. Hi, I just wanted to say that neither the WP or NYT had opinion pieces on the insults slung at trans community in the military, ban calling us dishonorable, undisciplined liars. Plenty of DEI opinion. It's just horrible what they're doing. Everything that Trump is doing right now. I just... Like, anyone who's ever talked about trans folks in the military, the amount of people that they're going to lose in the military, the amount of people who've been in the military for that long, the fact that a lot of trans folks turn to the military as a place of employment because they're one of the few places that will employ trans folks, you know, the training that goes into it and everything. It's just, yeah. To just kick them out just because. 56 Note Rich. Will tariffs affect any internet downloading of foreign channels in the USA or Canada? I don't see how, because it's normally on like product, like physical product, because it's about the requirements in crossing the border. Like that's where the tariffs really come in, is crossing the border. So if you don't have like a physical product that crosses the border, then I don't think tariffs would be applied. Meaty Doctor says exactly, Sandy, and I have no idea why you're saying it, but I appreciate it. The Wild West, 43 watching, that's pretty good. 43 people are watching and I don't even have a news stream ready for you guys. But you do get to see a sneak peek of the video that I'm working on. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Bad Lefty. Let's see. Just trying to get caught up. I'm near the bottom of the sandbox. The Wild West, my passport has the wrong gender and it looks like I'm wearing a hijab, so I'm never visiting the US again, obviously. Yeah. Like there's lots of people who, you know, present as the gender that they have transitioned to, that now it would just be more confusing because, you know, they're not really clockable. So you see a woman with a male marker on their passport, that would be, it singles out trans folks in so many ways. So maybe people who don't want to be out because they don't feel safe being out will be exposed this way if they ever decide to travel. And then there's rumors and stuff, like I don't know if there's been any proof of passports just not being reissued, of that being held. It is just, yeah, I don't know if I can travel to the United States anymore. So there goes my dream of having an American boyfriend. Emperor Megas, I'm from New Orleans, and I remember when Popeyes was local to the city. It's always weird to me seeing Popeyes in other places now. We have Popeyes up here. I've never eaten at one. Let's see. Hello, Soul Life. B-Cat. I'm personally grateful for the news break, to be honest. There's been a lot. And I know, like, especially with these major Canadian stories, David Dole's covering it on the Rational National. Of course, you have Rachel Gilmore who covers it, Steve Boots who cover it. You know, like I offer a different perspective when I cover it, but they also do fantastic jobs covering it. Lance from the Surfs also covers a fair bit of Canadian news at the beginning of his streams. So it's not like you can't find the Canadian news. Although, like I said, I add my own perspective and style to it, which can make it interesting. But I think as long as I'm working on this stupid video, Miss Man, do they even think about intersex people? No, I doubt that. Yeah, it's... You race to the bottom of the barrel only to find out there's a door that leads to another barrel. But yeah, the other thing... So, when I take like a real break from the video that I'm working on, it will be to edit my book. And that to me is a break because I love traveling back to the world of my book, of the world that I made in it. And I wish so hard it was real. Oh, thank you so much for the $2, 56 Nick Rich. A montage would be nice. Ah, you're paying for it in $2 bits, are you? The amount of work I'm putting into this stupid video, I should be paid like $5,000 for it at the end. But like I said, I'm just like, hopefully, I'll get 1,000 views. Let's see. You don't get to eat the necklace, sweetie. What is this one? I'm trying to think of a... Let's see. Uh, 56 next bridge. I ain't got 5K to give yet. Let's see. It's like I don't want to give away all the really good stuff right now, but just need to fix this. How long is this? Oh, Vicky Clee, thank you so much for the 10 euros and a big kiss to all. I appreciate it so much. Let's see. 6 to... Why don't we see this one? So this one is about Bonnie. Now, keep in mind when a lot of this was made, like a lot of the tweets and comments and stuff, Bonnie's only recently changed her name to Bonnie from Benny. So a lot of the references will be to Benny. It's not any attempt to, it's no mistake. It's just, it's a recent change. But this one, it gets at me personally for something, and we'll see it in a moment. So it starts off with, basically how Jank and Anna have turned their backs on Bonnie. And this is a tweet from a while back just saying about Bonnie. She quit. So she is too pure for us. One, she quit, so she's too pure for us, because replying to somebody who's saying, like, why don't you talk to Bonnie about this issue on the main show? Two, she is an unhinged person who has called me evil, racist, transphobe, and other endless insults, and lied about our private conversation. Wow, that level-headed person that I could learn from and grow by talking to. Great idea, laughing, crying emoji. And of course, I will link to Bonnie's video explaining why she left TY. She never said any of that. She never called him. There is the talk of evil, but it's more about the ideologies and stuff like that. Jank and Anna have a hard time with media literacy.
Benny was part of our video partner program on Rebel headquarters, and we're the network that hired several trans people to be contributors.
And I pause it there to be like, they've hired several trans contributors to TYT? Well, maybe they're talking about Bonnie. About that.
And unfortunately, part of that is that we're in the attention business, and it's an ugly business to be in, right? Because in the case of Benny, I gave her a platform in being a contributor in the TYT network where no one else did. And I've done that for trans folks after.
So Cenk is saying he gave her the opportunity that nobody else would. You know, it is very hard for trans folks to get jobs, especially in public presenting jobs too. It's very hard, and so he's taking credit for it right here.
Americans, Latinos, you name it, all across the board, right? And over again. And no matter how many times we get attacked, we never change our policies. We never change anything. We just keep hiring those same folks again and again anyway.
So again, referring to many trans folks, they keep hiring the same people over and over and over again, despite what some trans folks have come out and said after the fact. But about Bonnie in particular, and Cenk being so generous in giving her a job there. About that.
What ended up happening was we had, at the time, one transgender colleague, her name is Benny.
And I'm just, on top of this, I found a tweet from Bonnie from a while ago. She says, I can't put into words how lucky I feel to be a part of the Young Turks. When I came out, the question of whether or not everyone at TYT would be supportive, which just wasn't a concern for me, and I just wish that everyone had that. Huh? Oh, and Anna replied to it with a couple heart emojis. She did. But wait a sec. What was that Bonnie said in there? When I came out, the question of whether or not everyone at TYT would be supportive just wasn't a concern for me. Huh, I wonder why she would say that. Well,
when she started working for us, she hadn't transitioned yet and hadn't even told anyone that she identified as transgender.
My note to myself as to the commentary in there, because here's the thing. They didn't know Bonnie was trans when Bonnie first got her job there, so them taking credit for hiring her as a trans woman is false. But, you know, it doesn't sound as good to say, well, at least we didn't fire her once we found out. So then I try racking my brain to figure out, well, who are the other trans contributors that they're... Oh, they're talking about me. I said in my audition video that I'm non-binary. They knew right from the get-go. I'm the only one that they've hired knowingly. And they're using the fact that they hired me as some sort of thing to hold up as making them so great. And I'm going to have, let's just say there's going to be some commentary in there that won't be good for sensitive ears. Because that one, you do not get to use me as a token. But then we get back into it, and so more of Cenk just talking about Bonnie, and this was recently.
We hire African Americans more than any other network by a landslide, etc. So, but unfortunately, for all the different contributors of all the different ethnicities, blah blah blah, it's a tough program, right? And we tell them ahead of time. We're like, look, it's super hard. And not everybody makes it because it's tough to make these videos and get enough views, etc. And it's not overly lucrative, but people want to be able to reach people with their message, etc.
And I can speak to this because when I first got my job there, they actually said it was easy. That they would be there to support me, that hitting the targets for the bonuses, Everyone does it. It happens. It's not a problem. That's what I was actually told. So I'll speak to that. But then back to the clip about Bonnie.
But unfortunately, sometimes people get moved out of the program because they're not doing that well. And Benny was in that category. But she pretended that it wasn't about that. She pretended she left out a principle because of something Anna had said. Whatever gets you through the night, okay?
And I just want to note that I've known that from the very beginning.
And she never said anything.
And I never threw Benny under the bus for using me as a scapegoat for why Benny was leaving. The fact of the matter was, Benny's contract as a contributor wasn't going to be renewed because Benny's videos were not performing.
And here's her side.
And any attempts to educate either Anna Kasparian or Cenk has kind of just been met with a lot of stubbornness, of digging in their heels, rejecting the new information, and replacing it with their own imaginations about how they think things should be. And it just continues to escalate over the past several months. And that fundamentally is why I just can't be a part of TYT anymore. It's just too much. It's ridiculous. Because at a certain point it becomes embarrassing for me. Because how can I, as a trans person, who actually knows the science behind this, who actually is, like, actively trying to support trans people, as somebody that people look up to me, right? People literally, like, send me messages and be like, I'm so inspired, you know, you being a TYT, like, it made me want to come out, or, like, my kids watch your show, and you know, it just, like, it gives them so much hope, and they're so excited to see a trans person in the news. And I have to deal with messages from them now, asking about, hey, what's going on with TIT? Hey, what the hell is happening here? Like, why is Anna saying this? Why is Cenk saying this? And that is just, like, the amount of, like, psychic damage that I have to take every single day dealing with not only the transphobic nonsense of the Republicans, but also whatever Cenk and Anna are on right now. It's just too much. And I just, because at a certain point it becomes embarrassing, because then people think that I'm, like, endorsing their views. And I cannot. I will not. I refuse to lend any support to those views whatsoever, because fundamentally they're dangerous and they're ridiculous and, like, they're straight up evil. It is just the shameless, selfish.
So here's something that Cenk does a lot with this stuff. Benny wasn't calling Cenk evil. She was calling these ideas that he's contributing to and basically endorsing as evil, but she was never calling Cenk evil.
Ignorance that is fueling this, and just this self-importance coming from both Cenk and Anna, this idea that they don't actually have to listen. So no, yeah, I'm done with TYT, because I can't let anybody think that I have any type of support for their opinions here, because they're just ridiculous. And it's just gotten to be too much for me to deal with all of this nonsense. And the last thing I want is for them to be able to say, oh no, it's fine. We have, like, a transgender host, so it's all good actually. Because no, it's not all good actually. It is in fact quite bad.
Yep. Mm. Kitty planking. Oh. Okay, down you go. Oh, he's a big kitty. Ah. Okay. Checking the sandbox. Can bring my necklace back around because Abernathy was trying to eat it. Vicky Clee, they also had that black lady trans person on TYT whose name I forget, as it was a while ago, who I think went to a right-wing network. I'll look into that a bit further. Because I tried just searching around, and for the life of me, I couldn't think of anyone else. But still, the idea that maybe they've hired 2 people knowing they were trans isn't exactly, it's good, but it's not exactly the win I think he's trying to make it sound like. But I'll look into that. Because it's different if it's just like a one-time guest host versus somebody who was actually a contributor. Or if somebody just came on a couple times as a guest host. Context wrench. Cat does the cat things. Atticus Among Us just got the notification. Well, this isn't a regular news stream. This is me unwinding because I've been frying my brain working on a video stream. And I need a bit of a... And I also feel like I have, a certain amount of accountability, you guys. I'm not providing you with a news live stream, and I should show you what I've been working on. And what I've been working on is a monster of a video project. Nadia Yvette Chambers, I fled the USA on the 19th. Hopefully you're doing all right. Context Ranch, oh boy, yay, tokenisms. Yeah. Vicky Clee, I get asthma twinges every time a streamer sticks their cat near their face. Yeah, if I ever got an allergy to cats, I would just have to deal with it because I can't imagine my life without cats at this point. Well, I could never imagine my life without cats ever since I was a child. Let's see. Nadia Vet Chambers, a big question as to whether I can avoid getting deported back to the USA. I hope you're safe wherever you are. Brooke? Bad Lefty? I know Brooke. She was a cis woman as far as I know. Any of that chambers, a trans person will identify as their target gender. Example, trans men will identify as men. Mm-hmm. $56 rich, 8 months until the 7th anniversary of legal cannabis in Canada. One of the few good things that the Justin Trudeau Liberals were able to get past. Vicky Clee, I love my cats. Cats love me. My cats, as a child, hospitalized me several times. As a kid, I only discovered the allergy when I moved out to university. Oh no. Vicky Clee. No, someone on the panel with large hair. There might have been some scandal. Can't remember. It was a very long time ago. I can try looking back. It's just, it's so hard. You know, it's hard to find vague information like that. Not impossible. I've done it before. Because if we go to the TYT channel, you can do this. Oldest. So these are the oldest videos from 18 years ago. A lot of them don't have the contributors necessarily in the thumbnails. And I would imagine it wasn't from 18 years ago. So, yeah, it's hard to... because there's also their webpage. I can join TYT today. But this doesn't, you know, it doesn't list like, from what I can find, like if anybody can find it, I'd appreciate it. More, let's see. Podcast shows. Like I'd have to be a member to do a better search of their website for things. Because if they did hire another trans folk, I would mention it. And say, well, this was from this long ago type thing. Let's just say in recent time. There's some bizarre videos that you can find from way back when. Yeah. Star Jones had surgery. No shit. That's the title. It says no shit in the title. Marilyn Manson sued. Woman uses sex appeal to makes a guy buy her shoes. Let's see. Another example of news media failure. Democrats are spineless. Well, I guess not much has changed in the past 17 years. Let's see. Let's go back to the sandbox. I'll look a bit more into it because, like I said, I want to be sure about these things. Like, I want to have some integrity there. Somebody talking about the NDP and Charlie Angus? He's been fairly vocal about what's been happening down in the States. Jagmeet Singh, to his credit, has been going on some media shows, online media shows to talk about issues and stuff. I haven't gotten around to watching any of them yet. I do plan on it. So, good. Just a little bit too little too late. Vicky Klee, the panel person I'm trying to remember, the scandal wasn't about anything on TYT so far as I remember. It was outside of their network and she left was dropped. And that, again, it could be different than... So when you're a content creator, you're actually getting paid by TYT, but somebody like Lance, who went on TYT as a occasional guest host, he wasn't getting paid to do that? Young Turks has a Wikipedia page. And the only trans mentioned on the Wikipedia page is the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I'll look into it a bit more, but not while I'm on stream with you guys, because that's probably just very boring watching me look at a screen. Although it's not like I'm providing you guys with stellar content right now. Vicky Klee is going to be bugged by not knowing who it was. I know the feeling. Oh my god, do I ever know the feeling? Working on this. Hey, don't... Amber Nappy's being a bit of a brat. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Oh. I think I'm about pooped. I'm about pooped. Like I said, just been working so much on this video, I just want to get it done. So it's out of my plate, and I can focus on the Ontario election, get content made for that, do live streams and focus primarily on that over the next month, because the election is happening on the 27th. So there's a fair bit to cover. I need to update my book so I can have my book ready on time. And believe me, you will all know when it's available for paperback. Yeah. So, I don't know if anyone else has anything they want to say. Isn't, like I said, it's not a normal live stream. I didn't really have anything prepared. Just wanted to let you guys know what was happening. I don't know when my next live stream will be because, again, this is my focus. Just getting this video done. There's a couple other smaller montages I need to do, then the bigger ones as well. The one about... Like, the thing is I don't think TYT has done anything, like, fraudulent when it comes to money, but they've done things that are kind of in very moral gray area that I can see taking advantage of their audience and stuff. And yeah, just want to get this done, get it off my plate, get my 1,000 views. You know, I think Jank actually called out the letter hack. Subtweeted the letter hack in a video that he was in recently. Because Jank was mentioning something like, oh, you can see these channels and their videos will get like a 200 views or something like that. And then they do a video about us and then they get 100,000 views and on and on and on. And I'm like, I think he's calling out the letter hack. Because the letter hack posts a clip of Dollamore on his show talking about TYT, and that one just lit on fire and got like over 100,000 views. So I think he might have been calling out the letter hack. Nadia, if that's Chambers, the identifying as trans thing is a turf dog whistle. Yeah. People are, they don't identify as. I am non-binary. I don't identify as, like, that's just, I'm non-binary. I identify as a live streamer that is hot. No, people just are. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Thank you so much, Emperor Megas. You're asking about my book? Screw it. This stream is going on for another 3 hours. I guess the easiest way is to, I have a video about it. Let's see. If you go to my main YouTube page, oh, this is going to play audio, even though I'm subscribed to my own page. View my channel. Oh, it says live right now, so you're not seeing it. Well, when I'm not live, if you go to the top of my YouTube page, I have it pinned. I read out the first chapter and give a little bit of information. It's a horror about vampires, but it's loaded with like political and social commentary. And I wrote it last summer as part of a writing derby. So it was an online thing. It's just an event that's held. It's free and it's just to help people become creative and you know, maybe get writing and stuff. And so what this group does is they have a whole bunch of covers that are already made with fake pen names and stuff. And you kind of list which covers you like, and then they're doled out to people based on rankings and whatnot. And then based on that cover, you write a book. And the minimum is 10,000 words. My book hit a novel length. So my book became a novel. So I wrote a novel in 2 months. And then it goes through like a beta reading phase. And then you publish them under your fake pen names. And the thing is that you're not allowed to advertise it to... You're not allowed to reveal who you are. So I wouldn't be allowed to advertise it on Twitter or YouTube until after the event, because the idea is to it's a friendly competition to see who can sell the most when we all start from the same level, all start from scratch. And so I was the cover I was given, I'm like, yes, I can do a vampire book. And so it's loaded with social and political commentary, especially where my brain was at the time. Yeah, I would just recommend watching the video of the first chapter. And for people who become Jack in a Box tier levels on my Patreon, after, let's just say after the provincial election at this point, I'll have all the videos of all the chapters available once I get around to making them. Yeah, so the first chapter plus the before part of it gives you a good idea as to what the novel is about. And right now it's just available as an ebook. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. It's called Necroplasm. I didn't choose the title. The title was already there. So you can buy it now, but I wouldn't recommend you buy it like right now. Because I'm about to make some edits in it. I'm changing the cover. Let's see if I have it up. I don't have it there. And I'm changing the cover to, well, have my name on it. As well as there were some things in the book that I changed for the sake of the cover where I'm like, it bugs me that it's not the cover I'm picturing in my head. Here, I'll just pop this on screen. So this is the cover that I was assigned with the MH Talus, and this is the cover that I want to redesign it with. Because the Necroplasm, it's the first ever blood substitute that the vampires have come across. I'm not spoiling anything when I say that about the book. But yeah, it's about the first blood substitute that the vampires have made. And they realize that it's inevitable that humans will discover their existence. So they're trying to decide how they come out to humans, and Necroplasm is discovered. So it's like, do we preemptively take over the world because we know humans will be terrible once they find out we exist? Or do we try to coexist peacefully with them if they're no longer going to be our prey? But as I wrote the book, to me, in my mind's eye, the Necroplasm was like this tangerine orange. But I changed it to this lime green, and it's always bugged me, so I want to change it to the tangerine orange. So I would just, you can buy it now. Oops, let's go back here. There's nothing, like there's no plot points that will be different in the new edited book that I'm doing. No plot points will be different. It's just like super minor tweaking here and there. But you know, when I get the new cover added too, I'll make it paperback, so then you can buy it as a paperback. So yeah, in 2 months I wouldn't say I wrote the bulk of the book. And then in the editing phase, I think I added a couple chapters, which was in the 3rd month area. And like I said, the tweaking that I want to do now, super minor, won't change the plot of the book in any way. But it's important to me to make those changes before I publish it as a paperback. But yeah, that world that I made in that book was just a complete escape for me. And I want that world so much. There's somebody in the sandbox who has actually read my entire book, and they also kind of wish for that world. It's a horror, and I want it to be real. So yeah, if you go to my YouTube page when I'm not live, you'll see it pinned to the top, the video that I did of this, or you can go back to my Halloween live stream. And I show it on my Halloween live stream because I dress up as a vampire for my Halloween live stream because I have a thing for vampires. I love that genre. I love that genre. But yeah, lots and lots of political and social commentary in it. Gunstroke the Cybertonian. Well, seeing your stream helped me feel a bit more at ease with what's going on lately. Thank you. Bad Lefty, did Hack get 1K. Nope. Viewers for one of his videos reached over 100,000. I haven't even had a video reach over 30,000 yet. So Life, how is it legal to fundraise money for a building that ended up being called Poly Market in the end? That seems scammy. Well, you see, scams aren't technically illegal. Fraud is illegal. Scams are not. So you can be frauded out of money, and that's a crime. But if you're just scammed out of money, it's hard to ever, you know, you might not be held ever criminally accountable for it. It might not be a crime. It's gray area of taking advantage of their audience. And so there's a section in my video specifically about that sort of things. Like even things from Cenk asking the audience for money for his presidential run when he knew he wouldn't be able to win because he's an immigrant. You can argue all you want about whether or not that should be a thing. And I don't think it should be a requirement that you were born in the United States. But that is what it is in the United States. So he knew he would never be able to, and yet he still raised money towards that effort. And then there was other things that I've come across too that just, it's a little sketchy, a little morally ambiguous. Emperor Megas, I can't resist a book from YouTubers I follow, and I especially can't resist a paperback. Yeah, well then as soon as it becomes paperback, everyone will know. And then you can buy it when it becomes a paperback, because then it might help. If everyone buys it at the same time, it could help the book get more popular, because I've only sold 7 copies of the ebook. But like I said, if you want to support me now and get it now, you can do that. And there's very, very little changes here in nothing to the plot, nothing that would affect the plot. But there are changes that I definitely want to put in there for the paperback. Nadia, that Chambers identifying as non-binary is okay. It's the identifying as trans as way to negate or erase what they're actually identifying. Examples, TERF say, yeah, Tim, trans-identified male for a trans woman. Yeah, I know they do that, and it's horrible. And I definitely got that vibe from the one video I had to watch for this stupid video of the trigonometry. Those 2 guys, oh. Especially when they started talking about trans issues on that show with Cenk. Just, wow. Horrible, horrible. But, yeah, it's, but yeah, about my book, I wish for the day that I could get like 20 viewers to like do a book read of it and stuff, and then we do an online stream where we just talk all about it, because I've only been able to sit down with one person who has read the whole book, somebody that I know here, and she really liked it. And it was also pointed out to me because part of the book derby that I participated in, the beta reader, and this is said in my video about it, like I was super excited to get the feedback from the beta reader because, like I said, I've been living in this book for a couple months at that point. And the beta reader told me that it was so bad, it was unreadable, and they didn't finish it. And they didn't even bother to tell me where they stopped reading it. Not exactly some positive reinforcement. They didn't give me any feedback that was like constructive. So it was like, wow, that was a bit of a blow. But so far, for the people who've actually read the book now, it's they say they like it. And I did make a lot of edits to the book, but it was not based on anything that beta reader gave me. But then it was also pointed out to me that You know, it's a horror book. There's essay involved in it. So that could set people off. But if you can handle Stephen King books, this one is not a problem. And the person who's read my book said, yeah, it is the book. Like, it's not gratuitous. It's not there for no reason. And if you read adult horror books, it's in them. But then somebody pointed out to me that if the person reading it is a cis male who gets offended by the man v. bear in the woods discourse, like they take it personally because they're very insecure, they will hate my book. They will hate it. And it's like, oh yeah, I could see that. 56 Nick Rich. Sandy gives her opinion. It's what we want and expect. Yeah, you have to be opinionated in order to have a YouTube channel. Emperor Magus will do, and definitely get a copy when it's available physically. Yep, no, if you want to read it all in one go in the ebook, by all means, and then you can tell me if you find any typos, because it was never professionally edited. The person who gave me some feedback caught some things, so those are some things I'll change, but like I said, nothing fundamentally changes in the book with the little edits that I'm doing, but it will take me at least a day to go through it and stuff. And then part of the thing that I love doing about the video is I get to, again, live in my book. And part of the reason why I'm doing these slight little tiny edits is if in case I want to expand on the book and make prequels and sequels, like make it into a series type thing. And then these little tweakings will help with that. Bad Lefty, I struggled to read a novel in 2 months, let alone write a novel. And I've read my own book minimum a dozen times when I was editing it and stuff. And I know a lot of people say, oh, that's the worst part, but I love that part so much. Because I would just spend a few days like reading the book out loud to myself to the point my voice hurt. Like I could barely speak at the end of it. And even when I go on my walks and stuff, I'm thinking about the book and I'm thinking about like where this world can expand to in the future and stuff. And yeah, it's because I like to try, like, also for me, it's a psychological thing because I like to try to imagine it as real as possible. So like if there really are vampires with this criteria as to what makes them vampires and they were hidden in this world, like what would the real honest to God reaction be? Like you see things like on TV with like True Blood where they have the blood substitute and suddenly vampires are out and it's like instantly accepted around the world that vampires are a thing. No, that would not happen like that. You would not, no. Like, that's not a thing. That's not how it would happen. There would be no, like, even as an individual, like, if vampires were not out in public, but you were walking down the street and a vampire says, hey, let's go have a donut or something. No, the way that people accept these supernatural things in movies is so unrealistic. And so I wanted to play it like, here's the real criteria. What would the real scenarios look like? And so it's a very complex world. It's very multi-layered because you have the humans that work with the vampires that are called acolytes, and there's different types of acolytes, and yeah. And I love just going into that world and imagining like what could be next, like where it picks up from the end of the book, but then also what led up to the book because there's a couple thousand years of history there. So, but I just recommend watching the video that I have about it. Ah, it jumped. I got all talking about my book. Emperor Megas, horrors is one of my favorite genres. The other is cyberpunk, so I'm 100% going to grab a paperback. Horror is my favorite genre for books. The Wild West. I love vampires unless they sparkle. Vampires are definitely my favorite genre, which is why I always dress up like one as for Halloween. Emperor Mega's vampire cosplay. Okay, now I have to check out the Halloween live stream. Yeah, you can check out the one from, there's 2 of them. And I dress up differently in both of them, but I'm still a vampire in both of them. Let's see. Do I have in here? Do I have? I should have them on here. Let's see. There you go. That's me 2 Halloweens ago. I have this on Instagram, I believe. I didn't do a like a photo shoot of me in the vampire outfit this past Halloween. But yeah, I love dressing up as a vampire whenever I can. Let's see. Do I have any in here? Let's see. This one goes hard. This was a Halloween from a while ago. You ready for this one? A fallen angel that was bitten by a vampire. I love Halloween. But I don't make a great blonde, I gotta say. Do not make a great blonde. That was just a wig. Let's see. Yeah, you can go back and check out my live streams, but any opportunity I can get to dress up as a vampire, you can be damn sure I take it. Oh, let's see. Hello, John F. McDropout. This is not your regular live stream. I don't like, why are you guys even watching me right now? I'm like doing nothing. Oh. Let's see. Emperor Mega, sorry if I was asking stuff that's already answered in other videos, but this was your first published book? Yeah. It's not my first book. It's my first published book. And no, by all means, you can ask. It's not a problem. I've written another book that I have mentioned before that I can't actually talk about. And I've been trying to get it like legit published. And at this point, it's just going to fizzle out and I'm just going to publish it on Amazon, but it's under a pen name. And I've talked about my frustrations around trying to get it published. But the thing is that I can't tell people about it, the name, my author's name, or even what it's about. And that's for my own safety. The content of the book might put a target on me. And when I say might, it would. It's fiction. It's fiction again. But there's stuff about the content that could make me a target. Whereas right now, I get no attention that way. I am not harassed. I'm not targeted. Nobody is stalking me that I know of. So they're doing a piss poor job of it if they are. So, you know, I go under the radar for the most part here. Like, I haven't gotten any threatening messages or anything of that sort, but the author of this book would. And I want to try to keep that part of me separate from my political online life as much as possible. So I've talked about my frustrations, though, about trying to get it published. And it's to the point now where I'm just going to break down. And it's frustrating because there are very important messages in that book and there's content in it that's very important to get out. And if you can get a publisher, then it gets out to a wider market easier. Whereas if you just post it on Amazon, so do a bazillion other people every day. So it's very hard for it to get noticed that way. But it's been on the go for such a long time. Like that book, you know, it's been a long project from when I first started it. I just need it done at this point. So like I won't be able to advertise it under my name or anything either. I have to advertise it to a very specific group of people. Yeah. John Davis, vampires eat donuts? Well, the ones I met have. Jet, vampire, I'll take a Bloody Mary, and you better use real Mary. So live. Sandy, are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? Team, I will unalive myself if I have to be forced to choose either. All I have to say is watch the pitch meetings for them. For the Twilight series, watch the pitch meetings. Mm-hmm. I remember I was listening to the radio in the car when one of the plots of the book, one of the books in the series was being mentioned, and I thought they were joking until I found out, you're being serious right now? Like, it is just so, how can something like that get published? And then my amazing vampire book that you're about to read not get picked up. Like, it's just wow. The Wild West, John Davis, there's a Canadian movie about vampires and donut shop. It's called Blood and Donuts. I haven't actually watched that yet. I do know of it, which is probably why I thought of the donuts when I said that. Now everyone's talking about food again, and I'm like hungry because I wasn't expecting to be streaming this long. Like, how is it that I can be streaming this long when I have nothing prepared? Whereas if I do like a news live stream that's taken me a few hours to prepare, it's the same length. So, like, a vampire would never be able to pierce the skin of an angel with fangs. I watched Supernatural. I know these things. Well, you see, the thing about that character I was playing for that Halloween, It worked because she liked it. She wanted it. But the nice thing about the vampire genre is you can make your vampires, like, you outline, you know, what the vampires are, the premises of your vampires in your own book, and then you just go with it from there. So their abilities and stuff like that. And it's actually very versatile because there's the classic burn in sunlight, but then there's also, yeah, we're just nocturnal. Like it's there's so much, but as long as, you know, near the beginning of the book, you kind of sort of outline this is what your vampires are, then you can go with it. And I love how they can be versatile. So it's a matter of, like, if you meet a vampire, it's like, so what kind of vampire are you? Jumped. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Nadia Vet Chambers. Who are the Canadian sisters who do horror films? I don't know. The Soka sisters? Soska? I don't know about them. I've probably seen their movies. Empire Megas, I've been listening to the Vampire System on Pocket FM. It's definitely a different take on the genre. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, if you like the vampire genre and you like my politics, you'll probably love my book. Because the thing is, it's written well. It's written well, despite what the beta reader said. I know how to write. And I'm so looking forward to having it available in paperback. But like I said, I need to find out if I have to buy the cover in order to alter it that way. And then see if I have to re-upload it completely to Amazon, or if I can just update everything on the current link type thing. Because I tried to change the cover on the current link and it wouldn't let me. So I have no problem just making a new link. It just means that all the videos that I've made since Halloween, I'll have to change the link in it. Oh, because in the description box, that's what I have. But I need to sign off so I can go get something to eat that doesn't require ketchup, because I'm pretty much out of ketchup. Tracy Eva, have you considered turning your vampire novel into a graphic novel? If I could do that type of artwork, I would in a second. But the type of artwork I do is not that, unfortunately. It's a very different type of art, and I don't have the ability to do like cartoon comic type drawings. It's nothing. I've never been able to pull it off unless I'm copying someone else's work. Like just even making a character, but then having them look like the same person from different angles. Not something I can do. And just simplifying a face, but enough to make it still a distinct face with character. Again, not something I can do. Empire Megas, your artwork is great. It'd be cool if you could do the cover yourself from scratch. again, my artwork isn't really good for a book cover. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I could Photoshop something, but to make a cover that helps sell the book, that's its own type of art. It's kind of like when thumbnails for videos. I can do Photoshop. I know how to use Photoshop. My thumbnails suck. I understand this. You know, I'm not ignorant to the fact that my thumbnails aren't the greatest, because how to do that type of branding and stuff, it's not something I'm good at. And the same would go for a book. I can make a book cover, but making a book cover that actually sells a book, that's its own thing. You need people who know what they're doing. But that said, I think I am going to sign off. So let me do the things that I always do to indicate I'm about to sign off. I'm also going to have to change this graphic here when I update the cover. Probably change this part to white print too, since the mic seems to be over it all the time. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Oh, I got you all. Okay, I appreciate all the super chats so much. You can also, you know, do the patron thing. That's a great way to help out. The Amazon wish list, linked in the description box below, is also a good way to help out and help maybe boost my mood sometimes. Or if you just want to show your appreciation that way. I still feel weird with it. But, you know, since I've been in the position where I want to get contributor or content creators and stuff, something, a gift or something, I want to do that for others. So I understand that other people might want to do that. Still find it weird, but I appreciate it. Not sure when my next live stream will be. Hopefully it will be a regular news live stream, because I got this stupid video done. But yeah, thank you so much to all the people who have already helped out financially in some way. You can check out my art here. You can help out with vet bills for Frodo. He's 17 and he has like ongoing medical conditions. He's fine right now. But you can do that by using the PayPal link in the description box below, or an e-transfer if you're Canadian, and all that money goes specifically for vet bills. And any money right now is definitely super appreciated, because I had to pay a lot of money to get an external hard drive. That is 5 terabytes to store all my information that I'm secretly stressed out about right now. Well, not secretly, I'm very openly stressed out about now, because if anything happens to what I've been working on, it will be gone, because I haven't been able to back it up properly. I'm just totally freaking out about that. I've tried backing up the video montages to a certain point, but like all of these files and stuff, it's too much to put on a memory stick. So soon I should be getting the external hard drive in the mail soon. So any help with that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you to the mods for keeping the sandbox clean from turds. People are talking. Let's see. I get distracted by the chat right as I'm trying to go. Anyway. I didn't do like my regular intro, but I'll do my regular outro for everyone. Salut, à la prochaine. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. I'm Sandy, wishing your tomorrow is better than your today.